We are live on the Virtual Grip Network, and once again, we hop in the DeLorean to travel back to 1966 for this season's YesterYear Tour Modifieds, where some of the best Tour Mod drivers will compete for one of the most prestigious and unique racing titles on the iRacing platform, the Old Red Boot. I'm Zach Chapman, aka Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, J.R. Shepard. We're lucky enough to have the heartbeat of EGN, the absolute best at bringing all the sights and sounds, the one and only Ryan Seneker. 3 weeks ago, the Tour Mods were up north for a shootout at the famous Oxford Plains Speedway, where we would see the points lead all but disappear as the points leader, Tom Ogle, struggled to bring home P12. This allowed Ken Allen to focus, leading to a podium and now a 1-point margin between him and Mr. Ogle. The real winner in terms of points and the actual race, though, was a man named Scott Negus. Scott set fast time in qualifying and never looked back as he took the checkers and now sees himself 3 points off the lead. Can Scott take advantage of his momentum and go back-to-back? Will Tom Ogle right the ship and reestablish himself firmly at the top? Or will this season's most consistent driver, the previous double points race winner, Ken Allen, find victory lane once again? Find out as we're set to go 250 miles around the tricky triangle in the hills of Pennsylvania. Now, the date was September 24th, 1978. The stage was set for 120 laps at the Pocono Speedway. The race would see 12 cautions leading to 47 laps under caution. Hopefully we behave a little better than that tonight, fellas. That being said, some of the early favors would see themselves involved in the mayhem, allowing a 27-year-old Jeff Bodine to bring home the win. Jeff took a brand new Pinto modified to victory in its first ever weekend at the track. Bodine was quoted as saying, "I could run with the guys in a pack, but if I pass them in the corner, well, they just blow back by me on the straights. We were handling better than the others, though, and got better fuel mileage, so why not stick in line?" And to me, JR, that is the perfect lead-in for you here at the 2.5-mile Pocono Speedway. Do we think it's going to be important, to get out front here tonight? Because, I may be dumb, but I think maybe second, third, trying to save some gas here might be the way to go. But what are you thinking here tonight, man?
Yeah, like I said, Pocono Raceway, it's 2.5 miles. It is the tricky triangle, but in these tour modifieds, this place is essentially a super speedway, meaning that draft, I think, is going to be a huge factor tonight. And I think, like you said, it will be a big disadvantage to be that leader throughout this race, which brings me to this next word, co-opetition. You are going to have to find a drafting partner out there and work together with someone to not only have speed, but to also have that fuel mileage you need to get through this race. We know, Shaggy, that this is the flagship event of the league and even a wild card event due to the fact that we have non-league drivers being invited into it. And on top of that, it's a double points race. So there are many things that are going to be going through these drivers' heads tonight. I do not envy them at all, and you will have to stay on top of all of that if you want any chance to take home that big trophy here. It's going to be a wild race, especially for the series regulars.
I'm not being a very good broadcaster here tonight. Am I putting you on the spot, Ryan? Do we have the points here for this thing? Look at that. He does not mess around. I didn't even think to double check. Of course he's got it. I mentioned the top three there, JR, within 3 points. Brian Johnson, 11 points back, and a mere 16 back, Todd Liston. We are double points racing tonight because we're going 250 miles. I mean, anybody in the top 5 could walk out of here your leader tonight.
Absolutely, and when you're one of those drivers, say Todd Liston, you talked about him being 16 points out. These are the nights that you circle on the calendar because you can make up a ton of ground. Something that might take you multiple races to catch back up on those drivers ahead of you. You can do it in one race. You just got to have a clean race with a great finish compared to your competitors, which is going to be tough with all those factors that we just discussed.
Speaking of all those factors, I'll tell you, when I've been watching practice here as we get ready to take a look at the starting grid, JR, such a big racetrack, I really didn't notice how many guys we have tonight. 29 guys here. So, I mean, if you're Tom Ogle, Scott Negus, who was the other one there? Ken Allen, in a double points race, man, if you are coming home, possibly in the back 20s, this could be, I mean, this is season damning here. You've got to be on your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm one of the series regulars, I'm a little bit scared of this event, and I'm probably going to find me a big hole to race in for most of this race because there are so many things that can happen. There's so many drivers that you're not used to racing with, and one slip up by one of those drivers could end your season hope for winning a championship. So it's going to be tense moments for these drivers. I would try to find a hole, stay there as long as I can.
Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at the starting grid. We'll have plenty of time. Pocono, big racetrack here. So no rush tonight going through the lineup. Row 1 to the inside on the pole. The General in the 083, Dwayne MacArthur to the outside, Rory Collins.
Rolling off inside of row 2, we got the 30 of Gavin Adams, and on the outside, points leader Tom Ogle.
The man right behind him in points lined up to the inside of row 3, Ken Allen to the outside, Tom Hilder.
Returning on the 4th row inside, Brian Neff in that 60 car. On the outside in the 99 car will be Daryl Weininger.
You got the brothers Hilbert out there tonight. I didn't even realize that. Steve on the inside of row 5 to the top shelf, the 93 of Chris Hastings.
Rolling off in 11th place, we got Randy Schuler on that inside line. On the outside, Mark Fish.
Row 7 to the inside, Orange Childs to the top shelf, Chris Davis.
Inside row 8, we got Luke Logan Allen. He'll be one to watch coming through the field. And on the outside, one of those drivers up in points, Scott Negus.
Jeff Aho lines up from the inside of row 9 to the outside, Brian Johnson.
Inside row 10, we got the 87 of Todd Liston. On the outside in that 36 car, Jeffrey Harden.
Alan Wanamaker lines up on the inside of row 11 to the top shelf, Jerry Isaacs.
Rolling off in 23rd, we got the 19 car of Dustin Martinson. On the outside, James Lowe.
Jeffrey Souza lines up on the inside of row 13 to the top shelf, Mark Prince.
And inside of row 14, we got the 22 Bruce Pearson. On the outside in 28th, the 55 car of Dale Copeland.
Rounding out the field, we got Crisco, Robert Borisco, the 028 machine. He's one of the first-timers here that JR was talking about. Well, you know, we love it. We absolutely do love it. I guarantee you. Tom Ogle, Ken Allen, Scott Negus, they are hating it right now, seeing 29 cars in the field. But JR, I mean, this is one of those ones where we expect, green flag runs about the, low 20s. We're thinking 3 to 4 green flag pit stops minimum. I mean, you've got to really bide your time here. You got a long way to go.
It is a very long time, and these drivers are going to have to be patient. They're going to have to be a lot of riding and, again, working together with your competition to get to the end of this.
As the green flag waves were underway, 250 miles at the Pocono Raceway. Lap 1 is underway. The General, Dwayne MacArthur, gets out to a good jump here, but the high side's starting to get a roll. Now, we mentioned, JR, it's almost like restrictor plate racing here. Sometimes Daytona, Talladega will see the outside line prevail. Oh, boy, who is that? Mark Fish? I don't know how he saved that thing. That is unbelievable. Did you see what I just saw, JR?
Yeah, some wild, intense moments. And see, look what it's created on our screen here. We're 4, maybe 5 wide, and this is going to be the moments that the drivers are going to be trying to catch their breath because these cars are already hard to see out of. That big air cleaner right in front of them, they can't always tell where the cars are in relationship to them, but you've got to be aware of where all these drivers are. Otherwise, incidental contact can absolutely end your night.
Well, Ken Allen takes the lead while this was going on. Somehow the General, Dwayne MacArthur, got shuffled up out of the way. Ken Allen and Gavin Adams lead the way here, locked in bumper to bumper. Now, we're talking restrictor plate racing here. Like I was saying, JR, I don't think we'll get the outside line to roll because of the 3 corners. Do you think we'll probably see a bottom dominant racetrack here today?
I think primarily it is going to be. Now, absolutely, if you hook up with somebody, you can make a pass on the outside over a car that's by themselves down there. But I think it's primarily going to be an inside line racetrack. And you even see as we're going down the long backstretch here, drivers are not out against that outside wall. They are running in the middle to lower portion of that track to block that inside line. That's where they expect the runs to be coming.
I know, you're probably wondering, Shaggy, why are you calling him the general? Dwayne MacArthur, he comes from my Sunday night series, JR, and he was one of the winningest drivers this season. I know he knows how to race, great on strategy. And then as soon as I say that, he's going to battle for second. I was going to say, maybe, do you think the car in second, obviously, you're going to get up to the guy in front of you. You want to push him. Do you think third place, where Tom Ogle is now, maybe the prime spot to be? You're going to be backing out of the throttle a little bit more, saving a lot more fuel than those front two.
Yeah, I think it's in the best interest of the second place driver to be pushing that leader out there. Otherwise, we're just going to bunch this pack up, and that's going to allow the drivers behind you to get a larger run. But with that second place driver pushing the leader out there, that third place driver can ride. They can lift off the throttle. They can be going just as fast while using a lot less fuel. So absolutely, save as much fuel as you can. That gives you options in this race.
See that hot, spicy chili pepper. Now, let's go find Scott Negus here, Ryan. He's third in points. His view is a lot messier. He is now on the bottom, or on the outside, 3 wide. Scott Negus, this is not what he wants to see, JR, but he's at the point where, I mean, he's running 20th. You can't really fall that much further back. I mean, you're just digging your own grave. He's got to try to go forward.
Yeah, he does, but I almost wonder if this is part of his plan. You know, we see it on the NASCAR side at super speedways. Drivers that are afraid of getting involved in a big mess, they slowly make their way to the back. They find a hole to ride in. So if there is a big wreck up ahead of them, they have the chance to slow down and avoid it. Now, it's a big risk because it's going to be super hard to get back through this field without any type of help. So if you have help, this will be a great plan. But if you don't have anybody to work with, it's going to be tough to come back through the field.
Got a new lead change, too, out front. The general, Dwayne MacArthur, getting it done on the outside with Mr. Tom Ogle. But the bottom line, starting to get the run here, JR. They just wanted to prove me wrong real quick. I think they heard what I said about the outside. They wanted to strut their stuff here. And maybe a little practice, I mean, I know it's early, but hey, you got to try it now to know if it's going to work later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a dress rehearsal for the end of the race. You've got to find out what works, what doesn't work. You even need to be finding out who you work well with. So you don't just want to be riding around that same driver the entire race. You might want to move around, fall back a little bit, find which drivers you draft the best with, because those are the drivers you're going to want to surround yourself with at the end.
I didn't mean to chuckle there, but Ryan went exactly where I thought I was going to go with this thing. You talk about drivers that don't work well together. Well, Brian Neff was behind that 13. They have had a lot of stuff go on this season, and I'm going to be interested to see here. Does Brian decide to maybe, shake his hand here, go to the outside, try to help those guys, or does he work to the bottom? You got to think Brian, he's got to look out for himself here and whatever line he thinks is going to move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think ultimately Brian's going to try to go to a different line just to avoid any type of conflict. And at the end of the day, both of these drivers want to get to the end of the race. So I think they're going to try to do what's in their best interest and avoid each other as much as possible.
And right now, I'll tell you, I'm the first person to admit, I thought this was maybe, going to be a little lackluster race. And what I'm seeing, JR, this is awesome. I mean, they're branching out, they're spreading out. We've got side-by-side racing, battling for the lead once again. Oh, it looked like Ken Allen maybe got a little loose there, had to feather it. Now the outside getting the big run. I don't think Tom's going to get enough that he'll be able to close the door, but if General wants to swoop down there, he'll sure be able to close it. Tom, not clear just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. And that's why it's so hard. It takes so much of a push to get out in front of the other drivers who are already drafting each other. So that's why this outside, it's going to be very difficult to make something work. Now, I think you could win the race with a move like that because you just barely have to be in front of that inside driver, but I'm not sure you're ever going to fully get the pass done. It's going to take a mistake from that inside line.
Now, speaking of mistake here, it just kind of popped into my mind, JR. And if any drivers listening, you might want to click, I think it's F5 here, and click off your left side tires. I don't think anybody will be getting 4 tires here tonight, do you? Only going, 20, 23 laps about on a technical.
It'll be interesting. I think probably around halfway, you might want to try to get the 4 tires, but I'm going to limit that as much as possible just because if this thing goes green and we're making green flag stops, you have the time to get the 4 tires, but you don't want to lose that ground to your competitors. So you're going to limit it as much as possible, but you're going to be constantly monitoring. Every time you stop in your pit box, you're going to be pulling up your tire box to see what your tire wear is. If that left side looks good, I'm leaving them on.
I think that's got to be the strategy here. And you're seeing 2 little groups, but their second group definitely close enough that they're not losing the draft. Couldn't tell who just swung out their hide, making it 3 wide. It might be Torrance Childs in the. As. Not sure here. See Ryan lit up in Discord, JR, and I know Discord. Okay, all right. See you. Oh, yellow flag too while that was going on here. Scott Negus, one of the cars, sitting still on the inside here. Oh, man.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look back at it to see exactly what happened. They were going down the front stretch here. I see Negus, he was actually pushing Chris Hazlett into turn 1. Huh, yeah, that's a little bit odd here. Yeah, so it's one of those awareness things is kind of what I'm seeing. Negus is pushing Chris Hazlett. They come out of turn 1. They're going down the back stretch. And I think Negus slightly has a run, gets to the inside of Hazlett, but he didn't act like he really wanted to be there. And then Hazlett kind of came down, and that created the collision that sent Negus into that inside wall. And like you talked about, Shay, this is not at all what Scott needed. Maybe being back there in the pack, created that.
And now, obviously, you got to think here, JR. I don't think they looped around yet. They should be coming this time. But every single car are going to be coming down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were on lap 9 when this caution came out, so that's almost halfway through fuel run. This is the best time to come get it, and absolutely, I'm going to come in and get a full tank of fuel. It's only going to be about a half a tank that's needed. And to your point, Shaggy, about not taking the left side tires, this may be an opportunity to take them and then not take them the rest of the race. It really depends on what that tire wear is. I'd be very interested to know how much those left sides are wearing. I would think at a place like this, the right sides are going to be the ones that are wearing the most. And you're running such high speeds here. We're open wheels. You do have the air helping to cool off those tires. So just be interesting. I have no idea what that left side tire wear is, but this would be an opportunity where I might take left side tires.
Yeah, and I mean, is this a place? Well, you're saying might, JR. I think this might be, if you think this thing's going to go green, it might be the only time you do it. I think you got to do it here. We've seen track position maybe not super important, especially if you work with money on the outside. You got to come down and grab left side tires. A couple of people staying out too, JR. They're going to be on their own full strategy. We should know. I mean, we should have known, I should say. Alan Wanamaker going to stay out, get that bonus point for leading the lap next time around, I bet. Risco stays out. Tom Hilton as well. Win this battle off pit road.
Yeah, and the drivers that are staying out, it's not a bad strategy. All of these drivers still have to make the same amount of pit stops from here on out. Nobody's reducing themselves by a pit stop by pitting this early, but these drivers that are pitting now are essentially getting free time. They're pitting under caution. We're running less speed on track. They get to catch back up to the pack before we go green. These drivers that are staying out, if they have to make a green flag pit stop in another 10 or so laps, they're going to be losing a lot of time. So they're kind of taking a gamble here, but it's not the worst decision. This could work out, but you're going to have a partner. You got to have somebody that's going to be with you the entire time, that's going to make pit stops with you so you don't lose added time.
All right, Ryan, I'll pull him up. You can send him back down so I don't send him his face. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank here. My partner is JR. Sent John down Sunday. I caused enough confusion. We'll make sure that doesn't happen this time. But I'm going to pull up Randy Schuler and see if we can't get a word with him. Randy, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Well, hey, man, right now, you're able to come down pit road, and that's kind of why I want to pry at you. Are you seeing a lot of left side tire wear? Do you think you're going to need to get 4 tires at all tonight, or if we go green flag pit stops, is it just going to be right side you?
I'm currently not seeing any excessive tire wear or anything. Just trying to stay on top of the fuel game. It's a long race. Don't know when cautions are going to fly. But yeah, just trying to stay ahead of that on that fuel game.
They're 1 to green, but long pace lap, JR. Fire away here.
Yeah, just kind of interested, Randy, what kind of lines you're seeing working. Obviously, we see that inside line. Everybody's trying to protect down along the bottom, but do you see any runs that can happen on the high side and maybe a pass actually being made, especially up front?
So far, I haven't seen anything on the top that really is sticking out to me, but definitely looks like it's going to be, you want to be hugging that bottom line, and if you get a run, you got to take full advantage of it. Otherwise, you don't know when you're going to get another one.
Well, hey, Randy, you're getting ready to go back green, man. We love the suit and helmet. That's got to be the coolest suit and helmet combo in the league. But good luck, man. We're rooting for you.
All right, thanks, guys. Keep up the good work up there.
Randy Schuler running 7th place right now. I mean, prime spot, going to start. Well, I almost said inside row 4. This is 1966, JR. No wave around, single file restart. What am I thinking?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a little odd. It's hard to get used to these days compared to what we run. But yeah, running on the older rules, and it is single file restart. So that does make it a little cleaner. I don't think drivers are going to fan out as early as what we're accustomed to. But definitely by the time you get down to turn 1, exit of turn 1, I think you're going to see 3 and 4 wide. Drivers trying to take advantage of that run like Randy just talked about. You got to take it when you get it, because you never know when you're going to get that big run next.
Well, we've got 11 laps in the books, about to drop the hammer as Alan Wanamaker hits the restart zone. We're back underway. And Alan with a pretty good jump here. Battle already on for 4th is the general, Dwayne MacArthur. He's got the horses ready to roll, JR. They got a big run. They're going for 1 more. Him and Tom Ogle hooked up once again.
Absolutely. They've been working together the entire race so far, and it looks like that is the plan, what they're enjoying at least doing, to make up this ground. And you've got to have that. These other drivers are going to have to start finding someone to hook up with to make that time, because it may not be so important now. It will be later.
I know, obviously, he's going to have those incident points, but I think a look back at the man who was 3rd point, Scott Negus. Everything seems to be okay with that thing right now. I imagine JR draft going to help you a little bit. Maybe he'll notice it when he gets out front, but right now, I mean, he's able to stay in tow. Maybe he's going to be able to pick up some more scraps here.
Yeah, I think his car looks in great shape. So the only thing that might be off, his toe might be off slightly, meaning his steering wheel's turned a little more than what he might have started the race with, but the car's clean enough, so he's definitely going to have enough speed to get back to the front. But that was something he did not want to have happen. That was like his worst nightmare. He got away with it, so he's going to have to be careful coming through this field, because he does not want a second go at it. If you do, it's probably going to be worse. It's going to end your night.
And speaking of getting back to the front here, that's exactly what the general, Dwayne MacArthur, wants to do. Made the move on the inside for 2nd. Going to take that momentum, take a peek under the 9 ball of Alan Wanamaker. And we've got a new leader here as we enter turn 2. Tom Ogle looking to follow suit here, going to follow around. And you'd think here, if you're the 9 ball Alan Wanamaker, you really don't mind. You don't need to stay out front. But I'll tell you, you're on different pitch strategy here, JR. I know we're only on lap 13. they're going to need to worry about making sure they're on the inside here. That's going to be a long way around to try to save fuel if you miss your pit window.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot miss your pit window on these things. You will not make it back. You will not have enough speed to carry all the way around this 2.5-mile track. And a little bit surprised that that MacArthur and Ogle decided to attack and go get the lead like that. I would think being on that different pit strategy, you would try to, push those guys like Wanamaker and Garisco out front, let them burn off their fuel. You save some, but these guys, they seem pretty intent on gathering that lead and keeping it as long as they can tonight.
They do, and it's not like Garisco and Wanamaker were, I don't think, let them go by. I mean, I just saw Garisco pounding Wanamaker going down that little short straightaway there. So they are trying to work right now. Tom Ogle got washed out to the outside. We are under caution again. They are wrecking coming out of turn 2, JR. I think we got another big one.
Yeah, they are wrecking in the tunnel turn. We're going to get some images of that and see what happened, but I did see multiple cars, like you said. Scott Negus is involved in it, and this time, Shaggy, that looks not good. He's definitely got some left front suspension damage. You can see the car actually bobbling up and down. So looks like he got into Jeffrey Harding getting into the tunnel turn there a little bit, and in return it sent him up the track. The up the track damage didn't really bother him, but looks like he comes down and collects Luke Logan Allen on the inside. That's where the damage came from. But this is one of those things, these drivers are not always used to it, I think, in the Tour Modifieds. Aero really comes into play at a track like this, and that was probably a moment where he needed to lift just a little bit to help get that car pulled down to the bottom lane, and instead it pushed up into Jeffrey Hardin, and it catches drivers by surprise. You just don't expect that because you don't see it on the local short tracks that we run on most of the time, and yeah, you can see the big damage. Luke Logan actually got more damage out of that than Scott Negus did.
And, I'm not going to bat for Negus here. It obviously wasn't intentional, JR, but, just trying to think of an excuse for him. We were just talking. I mean, you got to wonder, you talked about the car maybe tightening up there in the aero and already probably not steering straight after the original contact. So, I mean, when you double those together, Negus just unfamiliar. I mean, how often do we see him take this car this fast? I mean, this is really quite the place to not have a full 100% handling car.
Yeah, that was a great point. The damage he had earlier, there's a possibility that his toe was out a little bit, meaning that your tires are not in line anymore. One of them is actually pointed outward slightly, and in return, that makes the car tight going through the corner. So definitely, that could have been something that played a huge factor there, and he just did not expect the car to move up the track. Once it moves up the track, there's very little you can do to stay off that outside car.
I'm surprised everybody didn't duck down pit road again here. We had some games. The general kind of baited some people to going down. You knew Alan Wanamaker and Garisco and the gang. They had to come down. I mean, no reason to make a green flag pit stop here in about 8 or so laps.
To me, this is so close. We know it's going to be somewhere around 20 laps, but this is so close to eliminating a pit stop if you pit right now and get a full load of fuel. I would definitely want to be coming down pit road. So a little bit surprised that some of these drivers stayed out because it's going to be hard to save fuel. I mean, even under caution, this is a long track. You use fuel up getting around here. Yeah, I would have definitely come down. That is going to give the drivers that just pitted a lot of options, I feel like.
Well, not to pour gas on the fire here, JR, but Scott Negus, he has called it a night. Has left the room. He's currently 28th out of 29 drivers. And Chris Hazlip, he hasn't given up yet. He's that guy in 29th. Scott Negus may come home tonight in the double points race, dead last. That could seal the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a big sting, and that's exactly what we talked about. These drivers are not used to seeing 29 racers show up every week. And they're racing with so many different drivers. They don't know what to expect when they're around these other drivers. And if you get yourself back in the pack in one of those situations, you just don't know how to react to it. So I feel like Negus being involved in that early accident delegated him to be back there and in traffic, and probably felt like he needed to be making some moves to come through the field to get away from some of the drivers he's not so used to. And in return got himself into another accident. And yeah, this is huge. This could really shake up the points for the rest of the season.
should get the one to green here this time by. It's good to know that so far, Randy Schuler, he shook the commentator's curse at least for that caution. He's moved up into P2, but I bring that up, JR, because, I mean, with the way we've seen Dwayne MacArthur and Tom Ogle working together, I don't know if that's the spot where you want to be on this restart. You're going to maybe be hung out to dry here.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm Schuler, I'm going to kind of recognize that, and I'm going to do everything that I can to block that inside lane because I do not want Ogle going by me on the outside. If he finds a way to make it work on the outside, then, you know, good for him. But I'm going to try to block that inside lane and make it difficult because I know that he's trying to get up there to the leader because of how well they've been working together, and I don't want that to happen. I want to kind of shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, you know, we talked about the extra drivers here. I don't believe he's not running for points. So, I mean, he wants a win sticker here. He can be aggressive, whereas that 13, he's got to notice that Scott Negus pulled off the racetrack. And Ken Allen, I mean, not very close there in that rear view. He's currently running 13th. So Tom Ogle, he's got to do what he can here just to make sure, you know, he brings all the pieces home.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more positions he loses, the more tense it's going to get for him. I feel like, obviously, if you're one of the top two cars, you're not going to have to worry about contact being made or getting caught up in an accident. But if you're back in third or fourth, you're not only having to worry about those guys that are in front of you, but you got to worry about the drivers behind you getting a huge run and trying to make a pass, making it 2 or 3 wide at times. So it's going to be tense. I do expect Ogle to try to move forward as fast as he can because he does not want to get stuck in one of those situations. And that's one of the big reasons why he's been working so well with MacArthur. He wants to stay away from where any potential danger might be.
They didn't like something here. I just noticed they extended the green by one more lap, so we're going to pace around one more time. And I'm surprised, JR, only one driver did what I would have done. You're going to extend that thing. I'm coming down there. I mean, give me my own strategy. And I think Ken Allen maybe doomed a little bit here because he went by himself, won't have that draft partner. But, man, that could have been the race winning move.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Allen is second place in points coming into this race. He's a little bit further back in the pack. Come in and get that fuel. You're going to be able to go further than anybody else. This is going to give you options. And like I said, we're getting so close to that point to where Ken can eliminate a pit stop. Those other drivers that didn't pit this last time, they've got to make that stop. So you're getting very, very close. And if this plays out, he could have a big, big gap on some of these other drivers. And if a timely caution happens, that's a huge break for him.
Yeah, and I also lied. I noticed there, Brian Johnson, he did come down pit road, so there will be 2 of them. I mean, those 2, they got to make sure they stay together, link up. That could be huge for those guys. I mean, you know, not to put the pressure on them, and I don't know if it's coming just yet. Obviously, we do have more guys in the field than usual. But we know a green flag pits out there. It's coming. We're getting at least 1, maybe 2 of them, and I think if this is that run coming up, the longer you can stay out there here, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with Ken Allen, you know, linking up with somebody else that's on the same strategy, they don't even have to try to come through the field. They can literally ride in the back, just helping each other. And when all these other drivers pit, they start turning fast laps. And that's how they can make up the ground on the competitors during the round of green flag potential pit stops that we have. So this is a great position to be in if you're Ken Allen.
No, especially here is, I want to dive into that a little further as the pace truck pulls off. The general, Dwayne MacArthur, drops the hammer. We're back underway. JR, we know how chaotic coming down.
There's a wreck.
Oh, car on the inside. We already got a caution flag.
Yeah, I believe that was Todd Liston in the 87 there going around. And all of that happened probably because of a stack up coming to the green, just drivers trying to anticipate the green coming out. We'll get a replay here. And, you know, the bad thing about being that far back is, well, yep, this wasn't seeing the green flag pop up on your screen. This was seeing the drivers ahead of you take off. Todd took off because everybody's going, and then all of a sudden they stopped. And in these modifieds, you cannot tell when there's multiple cars ahead of you slowing down. Right into the back of the 87 is what happened there. And Yeah, this is a tough break for Todd, but it's also a blessing because you watch, he gets hit pretty hard, it spins him square around, and he makes the slightest tap to that inside wall. So he's going to lose track position, but he has a car that he can still fight with.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, how long it's taken us 2 minutes to get around this racetrack under pace speed. I mean, let's say he did break a little something there, he'll have plenty of time to fix it. It's gonna be no big deal here. Gonna roll around again. We're still looking to. I'm even looking. Where is this pace car? They're trying to find a pace car. Brian won't be able to find it. It's not a button, but I assure you, the pace truck is coming off of turn one. These guys just need to find it here. Long way to go around, JR, when you're only going 140 mile an hour.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for sure. And, you know, this lengthens those cautions, just not being caught up to that pace car. So, yeah, it's going to be another long caution here, unfortunately. But be interesting to see who chooses to come in and top off, because I was talking about us getting so close to eliminating, you know, an extra pit stop. I feel like drivers that top off at the end of this, they're going to be able to do that, and they're going to have an advantage over anybody that decides to stay out.
And you see, Dwayne still hasn't caught the pace car. I mean, this is an advantage if you're the leader here to come down and pit, I think, if it's open. Yeah, you're seeing second duck down. You might not lose as many spots here. The field's not stacked up, so right now he is still the only person to come down pit road. Nobody else has come down.
That's a great point. Yeah, the field is spread out so much that he's going to lose a lot less spots for sure, and is going to probably beat some of these drivers back out that are still coming around.
You can see him rifling around on the top there in that camera view. It's almost comical. He may beat some of those guys out. They're still trying to rifle back, or maybe this is the time. Schuler. No, I didn't see it get jacked up, so I would assume only right sides there. Didn't see the lefts go on, and oh, Brian Johnson just beat him. I mean, that was a close race.
Yeah, and you know, another thing, I look back in the pack down pit road. Luke Logan, I saw him on pit road. We know he had a lot of damage, so this gives drivers opportunities to try to get some of that damage fixed, get back going again, because we're not used to having back-to-back cautions like this. So if you were caught up in one of those, this gives you time that you need to try to get that car repaired and have a shot to at least get a good finish. May not be a race-winning type move to get that repair, or excuse me, to get the repairs done, but this is something that gives you an opportunity to fight with.
No, I think here with how we just had that caution fall, JR, I'm looking, and from what I want to say, Bill Copeland, so the top 8, they all pitted on lap 9. From 9th to Jeffrey Harden, they came in on lap 15. If we could get 10 laps green flag here, I'm willing to bet we're almost green flag the rest of the way, because we'll have 3 different groups coming down the pit road at 3 different times. We just got to get there. But this could be really interesting.
Yeah, it's setting up, you know, the stage for an exciting race to have all these different strategies playing out. And like I said, I really feel like these drivers that have topped off for fuel this time have the best opportunity. If we go green, I think clearly the winner comes out of that group of drivers. I just do not see how these other drivers are going to be able to make it, but I've been proven wrong before. So it'll be interesting to watch either way. But yeah, if we can get 3 different strategies occurring throughout the rest of this race and we stay green, that's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely, as you see MacArthur there, P1, I mean, he's going to be burning a little more fuel than everyone else. So hopefully his buddy Tom is committed to come down a pit road with him, or Dwayne MacArthur wanting to just go up and lead this way. That could end up biting him in the foot here, because not everybody knows who that 083 is. So you know how it is, JR, you're the new guy. I mean, you got to kind of find that one guy and do what he needs you to do. And I think maybe that's cutting the air for the 13 right now, just being a good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's doing. It's benefiting Ogle more than anybody else in the field, and obviously Dwayne being out front, he's going to be using a ton of fuel. So absolutely, his His hope is that Ogle is going to work with him throughout this race and pit when he needs to pit. If that happens, these two are going to be tough to beat because they're going to be hooked up the entire race. They're not searching for each other. They're nose to tail. They're making the most speed happen. But yeah, absolutely. It's going to make them have to pit earlier than some of these other drivers back in the pack who are not having to run full throttle the entire lap.
I swore we were going green that time. They extended it again. I'm telling you, the pace lights were off. I know they were. Yep. Okay, I see it on the bottom. Was extended again. All right, I didn't notice it. Wish I would notice that right away. We'd pull up a driver. Sorry, I'm missing that. But you can see what Ryan ain't missing. Ken Allen. Why not top off again, JR? You're gonna extend it. I'll top off again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Ken's got a plan here. He knows that this is setting himself up to have an advantage, a big advantage over these other drivers. But he's going to have somebody to help him. He's going to have someone on that similar strategy. If he gets out there by himself, it's going to be hard to make time under green. But he's going off strategy, and I like it. If you're not up front with a chance to contend for the win, you don't feel like you've got speed to get up there naturally, do something different, and you might be able to steal one of these.
Definitely the strategy he's going with as we roll through the tunnel turn here, the final time. I do believe the final time. Lights are still off. Right now, I'm trying to look. Biggest mover throughout the field. I'm going to go to Dale Copeland, I think. Up 20 spots, started 28th. Currently in 8th. Other big movers, the Viking, Dustin Martinson. He's inside the top 5. The 19 machine up 18 spots. Orisco up 18 spots. And then Jeff Aho, another big mover there inside the top 3, man. No uh-ohs for him today. The 021 up 14 spots so far. Watch the pace truck dive off. And that 13 is already glued to the back of the 83. As the green flag waves, we are back underway. Boy, oh boy, I mean, you couldn't fit a credit card in between those two, JR. They're ready to go.
They are, and I like Aho being, laying back a little bit. He's got a couple of car links in between him and the leaders. That could be huge coming off of turn 1 here if they set that up right, but he's going to have some help from behind from Darrell.
We'll have to see. Where is Darrell? Where do his, Oh, man, that was a fake there. I thought he was going to go to the inside. Lots of room there, but Aho decided to stay in line. That's appetizing down there, JR, but we saw it basically cause that first accident with Negus. Yes, there's room down there, but if you try to take the tunnel turn that low, you're really going to have to lift off.
Yeah, Jeff definitely backed out there, and I'm almost wondering if Jeff just wanted to see, we talked about that dress rehearsal phase. If he's just trying to see what works and what doesn't work and how fast he can close in on those drivers, not necessarily wanting to make the pass. We talked about how valuable being that third car in line could be. You're saving a ton of fuel. May not be a reason to get out of that, but he wanted to see how much speed difference he could create there and potentially make a move. And I think that may have given him information for the end of the race that this is what I need to do to have that run.
Now, JR, I'm putting you on the spot so you can lie to us because I really don't know the answer here. Just sound confident, whatever you say. But when these guys get locked up like that, when the 13 is right behind your leader, do they have to worry about overheating in these things?
Yeah, there is going to be the potential that we get some overheating. It's obviously a lot harder to do than on the NASCAR side. That's going to be extreme overheating. These are open wheel cars. They do have that slanted nose on the front. There is a big opening for air to flow in and cool the engines. Plus, we've got the air cleaner that's up on the top. So you got your radiator cool and your air cleaner up in the air for the engine cooling. But there's still that potential. These cars are opening a big hole in the air. It's essentially like running in the truck series. Very much that same mentality with the airflow, and you can overheat these engines. So something these drivers are going to have to worry about, and I think that's why in a lot of cases what we're seeing on the screen right here are gaps. We're seeing 1 and 2 car length gaps between these drivers. They're trying to create some of that air. They want some type of an opening where the air is clearly flowing into their car, excuse me.
And I'll tell you what, heads up, move up front, because through turn 1, I don't know if you caught it, JR, but the leader clipped the apron, and everybody behind him in that front group had to check up. That could have went bad, and if you look right behind him, that's the man leading the points. I mean, that could have been a nightmare scenario for Tom Ogle. You think you're running up towards the front, JR, you're safe, and all of a sudden the leader just one lapse of judgment there just for a second clips the apron, and it could have been all over.
And it's so easy to do. Like, you know, those watching at home, it's hard to explain. All of the grip, all of the speed is right down against that yellow line. But if you touch that yellow line or get those left side tires slightly below it, you hit the flat part of the racetrack that de-wedges the car, and this car will spin around extremely quick. Not to mention we're already low to the ground. So when you hit that apron, you are making contact with the bottom of the car to the track, and it essentially acts like a skid plate, like you're on ice. The car will slide around quick. So that was a great save up front. It kept a huge wreck from occurring with these leaders, but it is so easy to touch that apron. So the focus of these drivers, even though it's easy to drive this car by itself around this track, it is so easy to hit that apron and make a mistake.
Wondering how nervous those front 8 are starting to get here, JR, as the front 8 still are those guys. They came down on lap 9. We're on lap 28. Now, I know we had some cautions, so I'm sure that'll extend it maybe a lap or 2, but I expect these guys to have to come down pit road in the next 5 or so laps here.
Absolutely. These drivers that have not pitted, and I mean, there's quite a few of them. It looks like, you know, top 8, yeah, definitely pitted on lap 9. So those drivers will be the ones that are going to have to be making their way down pit road in the next handful of laps. And if I'm one of the drivers that's not in that mode or in that pit cycle, I'm looking to hook up and create a gap. We're seeing a gap form up front. I want a gap to be formed so these drivers, when they duck off and come down pit road, there's no chance that I get involved with a driver slowing down or trying to get to the bottom of the track. I don't get caught up in some mess that I don't need to be in. We need this race to stay green.
Yeah, and you know, how nervous are you, JR? We mentioned 8 cars. Well, there's 7 cars in that front pack. The 55 of Dale Copeland, he is about 2.5 seconds back on that front, or in the leader there. He may be coming down pit road all by himself. As you can see, there's a pretty big gap. If you're the 55, you're not going to have a green flag pit stop, I don't think. Torrance Child's in the outside wall hard. Never mind, no caution flag waves. We continue, but that Tonko 5 machine, JR, you know as well as I do, that's done. Caution flag.
And the caution, he's going to have to stop on track just because he's not able to drive it back. He wasn't able to get the car turned down on the apron to avoid the racing surface. So that's what brought out the caution. The car was undrivable. It was huge impact into the outside wall, and that was created from a 3-wide situation getting into turn 1. And I believe it was Jeff Aho that was kind of the pinball, kind of in the middle there. We get on board here. We see the 19 make a little bit of a late move on Aho. Aho tries to avoid it, but in return got loose, chased it up the track, and got into Torrance Child. So, yeah, just a disagreement on real estate coming into the corner there.
Yeah, that's a tough break. You know, I know Jeff probably not going to be happy about that. As I watched the replay a little further, he doesn't make contact with him, but definitely, you know, gets up close enough that he can wave to him. They're going down the straightaway, that's for sure. But at the same time, you know, JR, if I put myself in Dustin's shoes, the lane's open. Now, I understand Aho, you know, he's just trying to follow those cars in front of him. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, bottom was open, and I mean, Dustin, is it early? Yeah, but he was just trying to make his move. I think that's racing through and through. I don't think anybody really to blame for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just 2 cars trying to go for the same spot. And, you know, the thing is, you've been turning laps. You're not expecting that run to come that late if you're Jeff Aho. At the same time, this is a different type of racing than what we do in this league. At all the races that we've been at so far. So it's all about that awareness. Being aware of where those other drivers are, you kind of get complacent and not thinking about somebody making a move on you, and that's exactly when they're going to make the move on you. So the awareness level has to be so much higher at a race like this, because moves, they come fast and they come quick, and you don't always anticipate or see them coming. And I think that's what happened there. It just kind of caught everybody off guard.
No, and you know, once again, this isn't at Ajo or anything, but we compared this to restrictor plate racing, JR. I don't know about you, but I find myself, you know, towards the back for most of that restrictor plate race. I try to work my way towards the front at the end. And if you're not up front, I mean, I don't think it's out of line to say I truly am looking in my rear view mirror probably 50% of the lap just to see if anybody's going to try to make a big run on me. You take it, I'll let you go by. I feel like that's kind of, you know, something you mentioned. I mean, you don't normally do that kind of racing, but that's going to be really important here the rest of the race.
It is. All of these drivers are going to really have to get good at looking up in their mirror late before they go into the corner to see if somebody's got a run coming, because if they do, you're probably, you know, more than likely not going to be able to block that type of a move. And if you do, you're going to put that driver behind you in a very bad situation that might create a wreck with you anyway. So it's something they got to keep an eye on. And the one thing we're seeing all these cars come off pit road now, unfortunately, Shaggy, I think this takes the strategy out of it. Everybody's pretty much on that same pit cycle moving forward.
Yeah, you got your eye on anybody you want to pull up here, JR? Who's the next victim?
Well, you know, let's see. Maybe if Mark Fish is available, I think he's one of the drivers that chose to stay out, so he's going to be on a slightly different strategy. There's only a couple of them out there.
Yeah, you go ahead. You fire away at my Daytona 500 winner. You go ahead. You get the first question here.
All right. Hey, Mark. Hey, this is JR up in the VGN booth. Wanted to chat with you for a moment and see what your thinking is on being able to stay out. We saw most of the field come down pit road. Is this purely a track position strategy, or you got other things in mind here?
I've had a lot of trouble in this race. I'm sure you've seen it in the broadcast, and I thought I wanted to get up front. I have a feeling another caution's going to come out, so when another one comes out, then I'll go in and pit and get some fuel.
Now, Mark, have you noticed, I've seen a lot of guys when they're coming down, obviously, just get right sides, if any tires at all. Have you had any trouble with tire wear, or they seem like the rubber's staying there?
So far, there hasn't been any issues with tire wear. It's been about 100 to 99% on every stop I've done so far.
Well, hey, man, it's been a while since I talked to you at the top step of Victory Lane. Go get it done, Mark. We're rooting for you.
All right, thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
He won the Daytona 500 there, JR. Huge upset, got himself into the chase. It obviously didn't go his way, but Mark Fish, man, he's a guy that no matter if he's coming home in 25th or 5th, I mean, he is having a good time all the time.
Yeah, and I fully respect his move to do this. You know, like he said, he needed some track position. He wanted to get away from what was happening back in the pack, didn't like what he was seeing. And this gets him that track position along with, hey, we're probably going to have another caution. I'm going to be on the same pit cycle with these guys anyway. So this could be a net gain if that occurs. So, yeah, I like somebody going off strategy. When you see everybody coming down pit road and you've got the type of tire wear that we're hearing him have, why not stay out?
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I should have noticed, too. I didn't catch it until right now, but right behind him, I mean, they're not teammates, but I told you, everybody over there in that Sunday night, they love Mark. I mean, Mark is just a good dude over there, and he's got two buddies behind him now. So this may not be a bad place to be, because if you're Dwayne MacArthur, you've kind of been, you know, picking through the air the whole time. Why not let the guy on, you know, less fuel do it now? You kind of stay in line. I think that may be the strategy here for this second and third this time, JR.
Absolutely. I mean, I would hope so. At some point, you got to save some fuel so that you don't get so far off strategy compared to your competitors that, I mean, with the way the cautions have gone, the last thing you want is to be off cycle and the caution come out when you've pitted and other drivers have not and they stayed on track.
Well, the green flag waves, we're back underway. We're a third of the way through here as we're on lap 33. Mark Fish gonna dive off into turn one here. It should be a quiet Turn one here is we're still single file. I didn't see anybody throughout that whole field branch out. See him come off here, and I thought the 83 would stay in line, but he's got a big run. Is he looking to make the move? Nope. Okay, he does back out, gonna stay in line here, and I think this is the move for a little bit. You know, JR, I wanted to say too, you know, you said you respect Mark Fish. Are you allowed to respect somebody's decision, but yet also question it? Here is Ken Allen. Couldn't tell who he got into right there. I don't know how they didn't just wreck. Was that Gorisco? Big time save from Gorisco. He got a punt there in the tunnel turn from Ken Allen, and they were 3 wide. You talk about a wheelman, JR. I mean, this is his first time in one of these this season. That was not easy to do.
No, these cars are hard to save. Once they get sideways, the grip level completely goes away. So, yeah, seeing a driver be able to do that, that shows the talent level that we've got in the field. There's a lot of good drivers here, a lot of new names that we're not used to seeing, but those new names, they also have talent.
James Lowe on the outside. He's up 21 spots. Here's Dwayne MacArthur to the lead. James, that's a nice little easy bump there. Thought he was going to slam Mark Fish, but that could have been nasty. Drug the brake a little bit there, got to him slow, but now nowhere for James Lowe to go here. I think he's going to feel the effects of just being stuck on the outside.
Yeah, and...
Rewind!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold your breath, JR! Oh, we're trading a little paint! Oh, man, how did they make it out of there?
Yeah, they made it work, but that's a terrible position being Darrell in the middle lane there, because this car starts to get tight around the center of the corner, and you're having to lift, you're having to chase that car around to avoid the outside cars, and while you're doing it, the car's going to try to bounce off the inside cars. So this is some big-time racing right now. I didn't expect this right now.
Oh, Dale Copeland, man. He could have shaved that left rear. That was so close. Oh, he gave Isaac a little bump there. That wasn't square, and here comes Lowe on the outside. Who just swerved down there? I thought they were going to say enough's enough and kind of pull to the inside. That was Aho. They're 3 wide. Somebody's on the apron coming out of turn 2. Oh, my gosh, JR. How long can they keep this up?
Yeah, I thought all the drivers were calming down. You know, that opening lap was pretty mild compared to what we're seeing now. I thought these drivers were going to try to log some laps, but they're all here to race, so everybody's trying to get to the front as quickly as possible. And it's hard. It's hard to get away from drivers in this. We talked about it before we went live. You just can't get away from anybody. Without somebody making a major mistake, some contact being made, you're not going to drive away naturally from the rest of this field. These drivers are going to be able to draft back up into you, and that keeps everybody bunched up. When everybody's bunched up, the smallest mistake can create a big, big mess.
Jerry Isaacs to the bottom. He gets one. He's going to take a peek underneath the Tom Ogle. They're side by side as they enter the tunnel turn. Isaacs still has momentum, JR. He's going to go up battle for the lead. This is by himself. Now he's going to get some help.
Yeah, and that shows you how big the runs can come. And the thing was, he was able to take that run on the inside line. That's the best place to get it. And Dwayne MacArthur did not try to block it. He stayed with Ogle. He moved up the track because he knows that's where his drafting partner is. And in return, they've been able to retain that lead.
He definitely got the elbows out there. Coming off the 3, though, kind of made the move down, and I think freaked Isaacs out. He swerved hard to the left and lost a lot of time. You saw it really break that momentum. Now Tom Ogle goes back down, shuts the door, but floats back up. And JR, I mean, you know, sometimes I guess if you're the 13, you know, you can play a little games, go down, give that guy some draft, go back up, you know, give the guy behind you some draft. But I think all in all, you know, you don't really want to play that game. If anybody wants to do that, it's going to be Dwayne MacArthur, because you see, it's going to enable those big runs. And man, I don't know. If you're the guy second in line, I don't think you want to play that game.
Yeah, I agree. That's it's dangerous, and you know, you don't have a whole lot of options when you're that driver as well. So Yeah, these drivers are being nice. They're keeping it only 2 wide right now. I think we're okay as long as we're in that 2 wide situation. If one of these drivers decides to jump out and make it 3 wide, that's when it's going to get really tense because, again, it's all about that awareness, and you don't always have that. Not only that, a lot of these drivers rely on that iRacing spotter, and sometimes that iRacing spotter gets it wrong when you're 3 wide. You're not always given that call out, and contact will easily be made in those situations.
And then sometimes you have Jimmy or Chad Knaus cursing you out after you make a mistake. You don't want that either. Here is the top line going to prevail once again out of 1. Seems like maybe the money spot to be. I don't know what it is about turn 1, JR. Maybe because it's so flat. Those guys, they kind of just get to let go of the wheel a little earlier, straighten it up, and you get a big run. But out of the tunnel turn, you can see where you really get bound up. No big advantage for the outside.
No, absolutely. And, you know, every turn is different around this track. That's what's unique about Pocono. The 3 completely different corners, they all drive completely different. And in this style of car, the drafting and the speed that you're able to carry is going to be different. As we look on or head on here, we actually see Tom Ogle for the first time jumping out of line. He's trying to get the lead.
As he is down to the inside, Tom Ogle. Maybe they think, hey, maybe we should control both lines. Be side by side. We'll see what they say here, but how many? So they're about, they pit lap 30. They've got 8 laps in. They're on lap number 9. You know, maybe they're thinking, hey, we're halfway on the fuel run, time to swap. Is there maybe a little strategy in that? Because you can see it looked like Dwayne almost backed off there, going to let Tom just take it. Now maybe they'll slot together.
Yeah, I mean, it could possibly be a strategy move, but if it is, man, they didn't work it out exactly the way they wanted to. Ogle's way out in front, and right now, MacArthur and Isaacs are side by side, really making a lot of contact there. And Isaacs, he's going to get a run. He's going to say, if you guys are playing games, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to push Ogle out as much as I can.
Wayne MacArthur, maybe I'm wrong here. He comes back big, strong run on the outside, and he's your leader as we enter 1. Does he go down, shut the door? I don't think that's the answer. We've seen big runs off the top coming out of 2, and now Tom Ogle maybe going to find himself the odd man out here as Dale Copeland makes the move up 26 spots. JR started 28 up to second. Huge run here for the 55.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's the one that kind of broke up that strategy if these 2 drivers were trying to get back together. Copeland really shoved MacArthur out front, and now he has split the 2 drivers up. So it's going to make it a little more difficult for them to get hooked back up in this situation, especially with Lowe being on the outside there.
Oh, James, he was able to slide in there. I thought he was going to clip him on the way down. Able to slide in. Now Isaac's going to go low. He says, James, there's a lot more room down here. There's contact there. For a second, it looked like, couldn't tell if Isaac's, or I mean, if Lowe or Ogle got in the back of Copeland, or maybe Copeland came down, but either way, they continue to play. That was scary there. You saw all the drivers kind of check up there, JR, and it's made 2 by 2, almost that whole front group.
Absolutely. We were on board with MacArthur there. He actually made contact with the bottom of turn 1 on the exit there, and his car kind of bobbled. All those drivers had to check up behind him. I'm surprised somebody didn't carry that speed and try to make a big move, but I think it may be because Lowe was on the outside. The drivers were just afraid to do something, a little bit crazy there.
Well, that's the second time then. I missed that he's kind of clipped that apron in turn 1. So, I mean, in 41 laps, that's not what you want to have happen to you. That may be his trouble corner and something the guys behind him, got to keep their eye on here. Maybe you put pressure on him. That's the place to make the move. Is James Lowe going to try to get a run on the outside, but he's all by himself. As we take a peek back, the 028 of Robert Borisco. Here comes Crisco. I mean, he got pounded in the tri-oval a couple laps ago, was all but sideways, and now he's back up in the front group.
Making a big recovery, trying to come through the field there, up 21 spots, so big moves. He knows how to get it done. Now he's got to kind of, tone it down a little bit and be patient because there's a long way to go. He's inside the top 10, and he sees what all of these drivers ahead of him are doing, continuing to fight up there. Copeland's found himself in the middle of the 2 drivers that have been working together, MacArthur and Ogle. and that can create some tense racing here. I think the only thing that's kind of calming that situation down right now is James Lowe being on the outside, so it's kind of taking some options away for those two that were running nose to tail to get back together.
Yeah, if you look a couple rows back there, though, behind James Lowe on the outside, here comes the man, second in points, Ken Allen. He's starting to turn it on, and I'm telling you, when he gets up there, boy, the lights, the fireworks might go off here, JR. I mean, him and Tom Ogle side by side in a double points race. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, that would be awesome to see for sure, because those are two drivers that could definitely put on a show at a track like this with the way this drafting is. Right now, Ken Allen just does not. Oh, there's contact on the backstretch. Almost another wreck there with Garesco, but he's able to save it. So big time save right there. That could have been nasty, and once again, we could have been under caution.
I mean, how many, my God, how many good saves can that guy have? I mean, that's unbelievable. The reaction time he's got, got clipped there, got punted in the tunnel turn earlier. Those are arguably the toughest spots there to save a race car, and he's 2 for 2 here. He gotta hope he's got some luck left in that thing, JR. We aren't even halfway.
Absolutely, and look what we're seeing on screen. Isaacs was able to get to the inside of Ogle. Ogle is now falling back spots. He's trying to work with James Lowe on that outside lane, but it's just those two drivers. You have a whole line of cars on the inside that are trying to fill that hole, fill that gap.
Trying to find out here as I click on, so Jeffrey, is it? So Steve Hilbert, so the top 17 still kind of in that front pack, but there is that second group now. And I mean, that's maybe the safest place to be. Is there 3 wide going into the tunnel turn? Here for third. Are we going to make it out? Tom Ogle, the point leader on the outside. They are beat. They are bobbing. There's not done. Oh, they're not done. We got a big one.
Oh, yeah, and Ogle, being in the spot he was in, went right through, so he avoids a huge mess that is created here outside of the tunnel turn.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. I'm anxious to see here this breakdown. I wonder if Ken Allen made it through, because he was going to be going right through in the heat of it. As I rewind with Ken Allen's car, I think he did get a piece of this.
Yeah, we're kind of watching this. It all kind of started on the bottom. We see Daryl Weininger underneath Copeland, and in return, Jerry Isaacs getting turned across the front of Copeland. That gets into James Lowe, and at that point, you got cars just kind of going everywhere. They have no control of what's happening, and right there, you see Ken Allen getting involved in it. So, yeah, Ken Allen's got left front suspension damage. That's going to put a big, big hamper on his championship hopes this season.
Oh, that is a tough, tough break for Mr. Allen, and I'm watching him roll around right now. Ryan, go to the live camera. Ken Allen, it's a spark show. This thing's... Heard Ryan say, oh, he's fine. Maybe he's looking at something different.
Yeah, that's a bad night. Left front's not even hitting the ground. You see it, wobbling occasionally there as he bounces on the bumps through the track. But yeah, left front suspension damage. Big issues with that car, and he's not going to be able to continue out there.
If you could see what his left front's doing on my screen, it looks like one of those vibrator guns. Like for a back massager gun, the tire's just going boom, 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 boom. It is crazy. That's got to be wild to try to maneuver that thing around. And well, this isn't what we want, JR, but maybe Ken Allen will be fortunate enough here to repair this thing and get another early caution or two and try to get that thing somewhat competitive. Because, I mean, you mentioned, if not, that could be all she wrote.
Yeah, and if nothing else, I mean, one of the reasons he's continuing to drive this car around and then try to come down pit road is to get ahead of those drivers that may have been taken out in this wreck. He wants to make sure he's ahead of those drivers. Just a couple of positions could mean a lot in points toward the end of this season. But right now, I mean, Tom Ogle was the big winner out of that mess. He came out unscathed in second place. Ken Allen, he got caught up in it.
Let's see what the running order looks like here when they pull off pit road. Tom Hilbert did stay out. And Allen, hopefully he's just taking a breather, but kicked me off his car, so I can tell you he did get out.
Yeah, Ken has left the session and disconnected, so I believe it's going to be night over for him. Unfortunately, just too much damage to try to continue.
Well, all of a sudden, the 13, he's kind of got this on a platter here, JR. He's just got to find a way to just keep it clean and bring this thing home here. Double points so important. He's got to remember that. We're points racing here for the 13. You've got to be smarter than. Not that he hasn't been smart all season, but you really got to be on your P's and Q's here.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives him some breathing room. He doesn't have to worry about the points as much. He can race a little more, but he's got to make calculated moves out there. He can't do anything that's a risk. He can't be taking any of those. He wants to make sure that he finishes this race, because right now the second and third place drivers in points coming into here, they've both been taken out. They're both done for the night. The next driver is Brian Johnson, who was 11 points behind the leader. Right now he's running back in 18th spot. We haven't talked a whole lot about it tonight, so I don't know if he's just kind of cruising back there, or if that's all of the pace that he has. We're showing him on screen as he comes down pit road. But right now, that's the next competition that Tom Ogle's going to have.
Tough break there, too. I'm watching Mark Prince. He's a lap down, kind of, not realizing, hey, cars are supposed to go by me. He was in front of every car on the lead lap, but they don't have that wave around. And, man, he probably thought, hey, I'm not going to come down pit road. I'm going to stay out. I'm going to get back on the lead lap. And tough break there for Mark Prince. I went to school with a guy named Mark Price, so Prince probably going to call you that a couple times here tonight. It just flows.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing about this league is, the old system and the fact that there are no lucky dogs, there's no wave arounds. So if you go a lap down, you're going to be stuck a lap down unless you just have tons of speed. You're able to go up there and pass the leader naturally. Which tonight is going to be impossible to do by yourself. So, it's going to be a tough night. Your only hope is that some more drivers have an unfortunate incident and you're able to make passes that way. Otherwise, you're pretty well stuck where you are.
JR, we're inching closer to the halfway point as we roll through the tunnel turn here. We should be going back green this time by lights are on. Be on lap 48. We're down to 20 cars on the lead lap, so still a fair amount on the lead lap. But I'm sure some of these cars are sick here as we get ready to drop the hammer back underway. Gavin Adams leads the way, and everybody right now, from what I'm seeing, on the same pit strategy here out of the lead lap. Oh, we're wrecked.
Contact up front. We have MacArthur and Gavin. Gavin was spun across the front of MacArthur's nose, but MacArthur is the one that got hard contact on the inside wall.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That is, that may be the end of his night here. And Gavin Adams now, all right, I'm kind of puzzled here, JR, because I really can't remember. I'm trying to think. If you okay, so let's watch Gavin, where he gets yanked down right here. That's not an illegal pit road entry, is it, over that white line? He won't get an iRacing infraction for that?
No, he should be okay in that respect. So, actually trying to look through these drivers, I'm not seeing any type of a penalty popping up right now. So, he should be fine from that. But Gavin was super lucky there, being spun off the nose of MacArthur. I really expected two cars to be out of this race, but MacArthur ended up being the one with the heavy damage, and it was really odd. I don't know if Dwayne was just trying to do a little bit of a side draft or just not being familiar with these cars, it is so hard to judge where the right side of these cars are when you're not used to driving them every week. So just a little bit of misjudgment there, I think. But I'm super surprised, Shaggy. We're watching Dwayne on screen here, and his car's rolling around, but he took a vicious hit to that inside wall, but car looks okay.
I wonder, yeah, if he got away with a square enough hit that maybe it won't be damaged too bad. Gavin, he's the one that definitely, I mean, you called that first look. That could have been bad for him. And that left front at the angle he was going to hit it, if he didn't keep that thing away, that would have been nasty for him. And, you know, I mean, not that Dwayne did that on purpose, obviously he didn't, but you would have really felt for Gavin. I mean, you're just trying to, I mean, you're basically cruising down the highway there, JR, and all of a sudden you get maybe hooked by a drunk driver. I mean, you had no idea anything was coming.
No, not at all. Completely by surprise. So nice job being able to keep it going here. Yeah, you know, we're coming to halfway now. We're starting halfway. It's been a long race. I think some of these drivers need to just get it calmed down a little bit. Let's turn some laps, try to have some fun, make a green flag pit stop. That's one thing we talked about in the opening. We fully expected to have a green flag pit stop. We've yet to have one.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of having fun here, I'm gonna pull somebody up. Ryan, once again, send him back. I'm gonna pull up Crisco here. Robert, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, you know, a new guy on the scene here, showing up for Pocono. And Robert, you have had 2 amazing saves tonight. You get punted through the tunnel turn, and you get hooked coming out of turn 1. I mean, how are you saving those wrecks tonight? Because I'm calling them wrecks. I don't know how you didn't go around.
It's just luck, I think.
What do you got for him, JR?
I'm just gonna say, you know, you've kind of been everywhere tonight. You know, Shaggy talked about the amazing saves. I know you called them luck. They were great saves. A lot of driving there. But how is this racing in the pack? Like, what are the runs like back in the middle of the pack? And what do you expect as we get toward the end of this race? How do you think it's all going to play out?
I think it's going to play out to the guys that stay in line. It's when you catch the draft, man, I mean, you just go. And you can pick up like 2-3 spots, but I found you get hung out on the outside, you're better off you stay on the inside if you can make it work.
Well, hey, Robert, long ways to go. We're a little over halfway. We're wishing you the best of luck, man. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end of this thing. Go get them.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You had to bring up Crisco. You know, Ryan knows. That guy, JR, I talk about, you know, that Sunday League, and that will always be my standard. But, I mean, and Alan helps out with that over there at the OPRL. But that guy comes out with a full penalty report race review of that race every Sunday within about 20 minutes after that thing's done. It's unbelievable. And he even raced. That guy is, if you ever need an admin, you find out how much it costs. Get him on board.
Absolutely, that's hard to find an admin that's willing to do that. So that's really cool to hear. I hadn't heard that.
And I mean, obviously, you know, he's even harder on himself too. I've seen him, you know, maybe get loose, bring out a caution, and I mean, he is harder on himself than he would be on anybody else. He was fair, and I'd love to see him possibly bring home the podium, but he's gonna have to work on Tom Ogle. But now, we haven't talked here really about it. Tom Ogle, JR, he doesn't have his best friend anymore. I mean, what is he going to do now?
Yeah, this is in my opinion, this is a beat up on Tom Ogle type moment for the rest of the field. Copeland, we've seen him be extremely racy. Briscoe's now up there. This is the time to attack. Ogle does not have a partner up there. Go after him. Put him in a bad position to where he has to make a decision to get out of it, because if you don't do it, he could have control of the race.
We're back underway. Lap 52 is front 2 get a good jump here, and maybe we're thinking again P3 here. What kind of run? I believe I click over my, that's Morisco, duh, in the 028. I wanted to say Isaac's there. Crisco, he may get a big run here coming out of turn one. See if he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, right now, those top two, they've been able to push each other away. A little bit surprised that Copeland didn't try to take that run at the moment because he's got the freedom to do so. If it doesn't work, he would have had time to get back down in line, but he chooses to push Ogle, and at the same time, they're continuing to open up that gap back to third.
This is crazy, too, as I look over. Right now, only 2 drivers inside of the top 10, JR, started inside of the top 10. I mean, this has been a wild race. If you would have told me that at the beginning, I'd have looked at you and told you were stupid. No way would I have thought we had this much mixing up. And look, they're back to 3, maybe 4-1. We're wrecking.
Oh, yeah. James Lowe tried to make it 3 or 4 wide there on the front stretch. There's plenty of room to do it, but again, when you get in that situation, the other driver doesn't always know exactly where you're at, and it looked like Mark Fish got turned hard into the inside wall there. Yeah, you can see it's essentially a 3 wide situation, almost 4 wide if they were just slightly inside the leader. And yeah, it's the slightest contact. It's not going to take much tonight to send one of these cars around on a straightaway. And here's that head-on view, and you could see Fish may be slightly coming down. James Lowe definitely started to fade back up the track. He dove low quickly, and then the car naturally reacted back toward the right. And in doing so, that contact was made. Hard hit there by Mark Fish, but again, it's so solid on the rear end that he might just get away with that. We'll have to say his car's tracking on track, but he might get away with that.
So he did tow it. He didn't try to drive it back, I don't think. Yeah, he was going to drive it for a little bit, stopped real quick, and towed it. So maybe something did break in there that we couldn't see. So when I saw him drive away, it was doing a little bit of that iRacing sparking again. So that's going to be a tough break for him. Realistically, though, JR, you hit that hard in real life. I mean, we wouldn't be laughing. You'd kind of be lucky to get out of that thing quick. That's a big shot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those concussion type hits, being slammed into the wall backwards like that. It's one of those incidences that you just do not want to have. In most cases, the rear of the car is more, in this case, in this particular car, the rear of that car is going to be more solid than the front of the car. So yeah, that's not a way that you want to hit or an angle that you want to hit at. Had that been a real life incident. So yeah, that'd been one of those that the driver would not have been walking away so easily.
Let's do it one more time here. Look, the driver of the 55 here, Dill Copeland. Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Dill, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy? Nope. Chick-fil-A, man, he's eating a chicken sandwich right now. You can't see that because they're putting in a fake feed, but he's probably just eating one of those chicken sandwiches. I would too. I mean, this has been a long one.
Absolutely. I mean, you've had plenty of time tonight to have some snacks, get some drinks while we're under caution. It's it's been a lot of free time for these drivers. And to be honest, without getting into some type of rhythm, this is the type of races where you start to see a lot of mistakes, a lot of little mistakes. It's nothing major, it's just little mistakes that are happening. And a lot of that's just from riding around under caution. You get so relaxed that when it's race time, you're not as fully aware, like we talked about. This is a big night for awareness. You're not as fully aware as you need to be on where those other drivers are and just how close they are to you in order to avoid contact. And we keep seeing those little bitty incidences turn into a big mess and ultimately some long caution laps.
All right, let's try one more. We'll find out what's going on with the general. Hey, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going?
I'll tell you, Dwayne, that was a hard shot on the inside wall, but from what we're seeing, Didn't look like you got too much damage. How is that thing driving right now?
Yeah, it's fine. I think I hit flush on the Nerf bar, so I almost had no damage. So it feels great.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, JR. It's running okay. You got anything for him?
Yeah, super surprised. But hey, Dwayne, so now that you got that car back going, you're going to have to get some track position back. You're inside the top 10 once again. What's the plan to get back up front? I know we've not had a whole lot of green flag racing in this one.
Yeah, no, just pick the right lane at the right time. I think I'll be up there. I'm in the mood.
Now, before I, wish you luck and send you off, are we a Tom Ogle fan tonight, or are you trying to beat Tommy out here at his own game?
Well, we are trying to work together, but he's a little impatient and doesn't want to just ride. So I might have to go get in front of him and see if I can pull him along.
Hey, I like what I hear, Dwayne. Go get him. We're rooting for you, brother.
Yeah, you bet. Anybody but the 11.
That's what we like to hear. Dwayne MacArthur running around. Oh, man, it's a little too late for that, though, I think, JR. The other guys have kind of taken care of the 11, just out of nutrition.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how the rest of this race plays out. Definitely.
I said 11. I said 11 too, as Ryan calls me out. I was gonna say I meant 13, Ryan. You know what?
Yeah. It's gonna be fun watching him come through the pack. I'm super surprised that he doesn't have any damage, but like he said, these things have Nerf bars. He's good to go. He's got what minor damage he had taken care of through the pit stop cycles. And we're getting to the point to where we're getting less and less drivers in this field, or at least less and less drivers that have a car capable of winning. Only 16 on the lead lap right now, and I think a couple of those drivers have got some damage. So realistically, only 13 or 14 guys that might have a shot at this. At some point, I've got to think we're going to have some green flag laps, but they keep proving me wrong. I hope we get something different here.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say that anymore. I mean, we don't know. This race definitely out of character for what we're used to. Normally used to go on short track racing. The guys maybe brought the short track package by accident. Here is I think they extended the caution. So we're gonna go around one more time.
Caution lights back on, yeah. So it's a lot of caution flag laps here tonight, and once again, so these caution laps, it gives the drivers a lot of time to think. They have a lot of time to think about what's going to happen. Some of them are planning. Some of them are getting relaxed because it's not fun driving one of these cars around under caution for so long. And I feel like a lot of that's leading to some of the accidents that we're seeing on track, especially the last several, because they've been right on the restarts. So hopefully these drivers, they get it sorted out. They figure out what they want to do. Ultimately, I'd like to see these guys run at least one lap, just nose to tail. Let things get going before we start trying to make some moves, and then maybe we can play it out and see something good.
I'm wondering. I mean, obviously, none of them will admit to it. I don't think, JR, but I've done a couple of those Daytona 500 races to start the year, and I mean, if we get some caution, sometimes Mother Nature starts calling. I wonder if anybody did do a bathroom run tonight. I would put my money on at least one of these drivers. Had a little extra pit stop tonight to maybe run and drain the main vein. You know what I'm saying?
You've definitely had plenty of opportunities, and this track is large enough. Like, it's not like one of the short tracks that we're accustomed to racing at in the YesterYear Racing League. So you definitely have time. Come into the pits, let your service happen to the car, and you go take a bathroom break. You got tons of time. These caution laps, they're taking over 2 minutes. So yeah, plenty of time here. You need that opportunity, that break, go take it.
I know in NASCAR, I think it was maybe the Busch Series. I remember, I looked it up because my dad didn't even remember. The famous Morgan Shepherd pulls in, changes his own tires, smokes a cigarette while he's in there when he was just running part-time. That is the best. Man, I don't think we'll see that tonight, though, as the green flag set the wave. Tom Ogle continues to lead the way. Dale Copeland right there on the tail tank again. And Briscoe, he's just laxing back there as that third place car. He wasn't able to take advantage of it the last restart. Let's see if he can this time. I think it's another case of JR just maybe a little too far back, and he's not going to have any help from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, they're all kind of spaced out in this run. We're starting to see some of those runs develop. Copeland's into the back of Ogle, continuing to push him. Briscoe was able to close that gap. And now we've got 3 cars that are slightly pulling away from the rest of the field. But that draft is going to come back into play as we get on the straightaway here.
All of a sudden, too, haven't really talked about Alan Wanamaker all night. Here he is making a pass for third, and I believe, now, is that, no, that is, who is behind, who is that lap car? Who is 4th place in line? Can you guys tell who that is? Mark Prince. Mark Prince may be getting one of these laps back here, boys. We kind of wrote him off, JR. If he can get to the front of this pack, I mean, he can get one back the old-fashioned way, but he needs to get going.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to have to make up a couple of laps, but definitely this is your opportunity. These drivers don't want to mess with you, or at least they shouldn't be wanting to mess with you. If you can get a run and get to their inside, I would think they're going to give you that spot, and ultimately they need to try to save some fuel anyway, so why not let you go ahead and push you? This is the opportunity to try to get those laps back, but with the way that Copeland and Ogle are working together, they are starting to pull away from the rest of this pack. This pack, it's starting to look messy. They are not lined up. They're not working together to keep that momentum.
Yeah, they're going to need to really figure it out here. As you mentioned, those front 2 not walking away in reality terms yet, only 7/10 up ahead of Briscoe, but you start getting to that 1.1, 1.2 second bracket, you're not going to get any help really from the draft anymore. And these guys got to go. Is Prince going to work to the bottom here one more time? Briscoe finally clears him. They're going to have to link up here. Prince, I mean, he's got to realize, yeah, I got to move up, but I got to be able to get to the leaders if I want to get that lap back. I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah, he's starting to fall back, and that outside lane, oddly enough, seems to be the one that's forming, and it could be because Prince is that lap car. Drivers just don't want to work with him at the moment. But the outside lane is forming up. There's 5 cars in line. I think now 6 or 7 that have now pushed out there. So they're going to be quickly going around Prince and maybe even Wanamaker here.
We go. Liston got a little loose there in the center of the corner. You see that green car way up high, able to slide back in line. And who do we have there ducking out a line on the outside? Is that another lap down car? No, that's a broadcaster. My partner's in the same. Okay, it's Suzo on the outside. There we go. Suze is on the lead lap. Why did I think that was the lap down car? I'm blind tonight, JR.
It's hard to pick out these drivers. This is a larger track, a little bit further away, the viewpoints that we have on the individual cars. But yeah, this group's continuing to race. We do see Prince up there trying to take the lead of that second pack because, again, he wants to get up there and try to get some laps back in this. So if he can get to the front, he's going to try. And at some point, I think these drivers are going to have to establish him as the car to shove out there because there's plenty of laps left, around 40 laps to go. Everybody wants to try to save some fuel. Why not push Prince out there and you yourself save fuel? In return, he's going to go up there and try to fight the leaders.
And I'm not going to bite my tongue. Okay, I'm going to say it. We're getting close to green flag pit stops again, JR. I mean, it is getting to that point. 45 laps. Tom Ogle came in on lap 45. We're on lap 62. So, I mean, we got to about 5 laps away the first time. And I think we're about 5 to 6 laps away again from green flag pit stops. Will these guys behave long enough to get to them?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We are starting to see the action get a little more racy out there. We are too wide in this second pack. drivers are definitely wanting to be the leader of this pack for whatever reason. Like I said, I would try to work together. We continue to see those leaders pull away. And right now, I mean, they've got roughly a 1 second lead over the rest of the pack. So this is a breakaway that we did not think would happen unless there was some type of bobble back in the pack, and that bobble didn't occur. These guys up front, Copeland, Ogle, they just naturally worked together to pull away.
And we're getting to the point where, you know, looking at that 55 in the 13 machine, I mean, he's not out front, but basically I think what Dale Copeland's doing right now, JR, is trying to get himself to victory lane. Because if he could just stay like this for 36 more laps, make a move on the white flag lap, I mean, he is in prime territory. This is working out perfect for that 55.
Yeah, you know, in my opinion, if we were able to stay green, Copeland's able to save some fuel. Even though he's helping Ogle get way out in front, he's saving some type of fuel. Ogle will have to stop before Copeland does. Copeland doesn't have to come down pit road with him. This could very well get rid of your biggest competition by making Ogle have to pit by himself. So this could be a strategy play. That could be why we've not seen Copeland try to make a move.
We're 3 wide in turn 1. Oh my gosh, we almost wrecked. Ryan Neff, I think, got moved to the outside. I don't know how he hung on to that. There was contact on the entry to 1. There's still 3 wide. They're going to try to make it work here. I don't know if it will work through the tunnel turn, though, JR. Somebody may have to give here, and it's going to be Brian Neff. He's backing off.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to go into the tunnel turn 3 wide in these things at all. It's going to get messy. There's a lot of bumps down there. We haven't really talked about it, but there are a lot of bumps down at the bottom of the tunnel turn, and that can upset the car that's on the inside to push up or get loose and have to chase it up the track into that outside car. So if you're 3 wide, you just lose that real estate. You don't have as much room to save the car. So these drivers, they're aware of that, and so far nobody's tried to do that tonight.
It's going to be interesting to see, too, if Mark Prince, as Ryan brings up that pack. That's where I was just going to go. So Prince, you know, he was kind of trying to lead those guys get up there. You got to wonder, I mean, he is 2 laps down. Possibly had some damage because there you see, JR, as soon as Liston and MacArthur got around, well, that lead, it's gone. It was gone in literally a half a lap. So here we go. I mean, the general, he gave Liston a big shot, moved him to the bottom. Does he follow him now? No, right now he's hanging out the laundry downstairs. But Liston, he don't need no help. I mean, like a bat out of hell to the lead. What a run for Liston in the 87.
Yeah, Todd's ready to go, and he knows how to get it done in this style of racing. So when he got that run, he took it, and that's what you got to do. You've got to almost take every single run that comes to you. Otherwise, you could find yourself just kind of stuck back in the middle of the pack. So right now, he is out front. He's in a vulnerable position because he has a huge gap back to those drivers behind, and we saw how huge that draft is when you're the tailing car. So these cars, they will be catching him, I expect, coming off of turn 1 here.
Now, this is 20 laps, okay? We came down 45. We're on lap 66. They've got 20 laps. Obviously, a caution or 2 from those guys, but definitely 2, I guess, now that I think about it, because some of the other guys have come in lap 49 and, well, lap 55. So maybe 3 cautions even. And how many more laps are we thinking with 3 cautions, JR? 4 laps, maybe?
Yeah, I'm expecting to go to around lap 70, lap 72 before some of these drivers have to duck down pit road. Some of them may short pit. It all depends with how many pit stops you have left to do. And at this point, I would expect that we have at least 1 more pit stop after the one that's coming. So we'll have to see how the drivers plan it out, but absolutely, you could short pit, try to get out there by yourself. If you have a partner that's guaranteed to come down pit road with you, you work together, you could really make up a lot of time on this field.
Again, I don't think that's a bad idea, JR, especially maybe if you're like Dwayne MacArthur, Tom Ogle, you're linked up again, because I would think here only get, you know, you might as well get right side tires while you're filling it up with gas. But you're not going to go a lap down under a green flag pit stop, as those guys are 3 wide once again. So, I mean, you might as well take advantage here. If it's going to be 2 stops either way, why not make sure you're not pitting in a big pack? I mean, we talked about earlier how nasty it can be getting down pit road in a big pack.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to come off of turn 3 and everybody duck down at once. You're going to have some 3, maybe even 4 wide, ugly situations with drivers
four
trying
wide?
to slow down, and we're 4 wide now going into
Oh!
the attack.
Oh, what a save by Copeland. And I listen, that's, that is a move, JR, that I applauded you on making a couple months ago. That is not one you want to make, but if Liston does not back out of it and lose, let's see, 7, 8 spots there. I mean, he's going home on the trailer. That was a smart move by the 87.
It absolutely was, and you can see he was able to rebound and get a huge run back up there. But yeah, at some point as a driver, you got to make that decision. Is it worth wrecking myself and potentially the rest of the field, or do I try to open that wheel up, save my car, and live to run another lap? And that's what Liston did. And right now, he's going to have a chance to chase for that win again as we see Ogle on the inside trying to make a move for the lead.
I wonder how much of this is Tom Ogle, wanting to be that front car if they do indeed have to make a green flag pit stop. I know I wouldn't, I mean, JR, that where my ego's a little big, but I think I do a pretty good job of getting in pit road. Some guys maybe check up a little early, and that's where you can get into trouble. So I think it's important here, if you do plan on coming down pit road soon, you get to the front, you set your own pace.
Yeah, that's a good point, definitely. And the thing is, the draft is so huge through turns 3 coming on to the front stretch. A lot of drivers are trying to make that move on the leader, try to get down below the leader as they're coming off of turn 3. So that's a messy situation to be in. But if you're Ogle and you got MacArthur right behind you, you know how well you've been working together. You don't have to worry about that move coming, and you can easily get down to the inside and make pit entrance, get completely out of the way before you slow down. And like you said, come in at your speed instead of the driver speeds that are around you.
Yeah, we are seeing big runs coming out of 1 for that car, third in line. Aho got the door slammed shut. Ogle went down and made the block. If not, Aho's your new leader. And I mean, these guys, if you aren't doing it, I can tell you they are doing it for you, taking a mental note every time you see a run work here, a run work there, who you can trust, who you can't trust. I mean, it's getting down to that witching hour here, JR. We're coming to 31 laps to go, man.
Absolutely, and I think these drivers have really caught on to what Ogle and MacArthur have been doing, because what I've seen the last several laps is any driver that's up there trying to break those two up. They do not want those drivers to be around each other. Unfortunately, they're nose to tail in that outside lane, but they're trying to do everything to prevent them from having control of this race. And if you take away that inside line, with pit stops coming up, they've got a decision to make. Either they've got to really push and try to get back down to the bottom, or they're going to have to lift and get behind this pack.
Here we go, Aho to the bottom. Battle for the lead once again here through the tunnel turn. JR, Aho with a big run. Tom maybe had to lift there coming off. Now the general going to give him a shove. They're going to try to come back. Go though, because here comes Warisco on the bottom. I mean, he said it himself. He's been a little lucky tonight. And I mean, it don't look like luck. He is running good. I mean, coming to the front here late in the run when it matters, JR. Here comes the 028.
Yeah, and he's going to back off just a little bit. He's going to stay in line with Aho down on the inside. We see Todd Liston making that recovery. He's third in line down there. So some drivers that have been, pushed to the back, starting to make their way back up to the front. You see James Lowe there at the back of the outside lane.
We're on lap 71. I mean, I really don't want to be that jinx, but it got to be coming soon here. I mean, we're in JR's window. He knows what he's talking about. It's got to be the next 2 to 3 laps here, I think. These guys still continue to run side by side. That tells me they've definitely got at least more than 1 lap here, because I looking over at the strategy here, Dwayne MacArthur, he came in lap 49. Jeffrey Souza came in lap 49, but basically everyone else in that front pack, they're going to have to come down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's got to be happening in the next handful of laps for sure. The one thing that we don't know is the kind of mileage that these Tour Modifieds get under caution. It's obviously going to be much better than under green flag, but we don't know if that's a 2-to-1 ratio or maybe even as much as a 3-to-1 ratio. So definitely these drivers getting some good fuel mileage at this point. Those caution laps paying off. And the one thing that they've got to be thinking about is if you could ever get 25 laps on a green flag run, you're super close to being able to make that. So you want to get as close as possible to that 25 lap mark to go around lap 75 before you pit, because if not, you're going to have to come back down pit road again, at least for a splash and go.
That is a, man, that, I didn't even think about that, JR. So you got to think those guys like MacArthur and Souza, I mean, I would think it is definitely a one stop for them. But if you're these other guys, if you got to come down pit road next time by, even the following, you're not going to make it on one more stop. I mean, unless you got a little mouse in there, you know, running the motor for you, that you're going to run out of fuel.
Absolutely, and I don't know if that started to pop into the mind of Ogle and MacArthur, but definitely some of these guys have started to fall back, and you know, they're falling back behind drivers that they haven't been behind. We see some anxious times there, Liston getting on the apron, Prince there as well, and Ogle's going to try to take it down to the inside on the backstretch. We're now 3 wide there between Ogle, Prince, and MacArthur.
I like what Prince did there, though. I mean, he honestly held his ground for a long time. Now he kind of goes up to the outside here, but he's going to put Tom Ogle in the, I got nothing to lose here, buddy. Goes down, pull some side draft on him, make some contact. Going to let him know, hey, maybe I didn't like that. You know, that was pretty low. Liston makes a little contact there with the 083 of General Dwayne MacArthur. They lived to race another day. We're coming to lap 74, JR. Oh, no! No green flag pit stops. Dwayne MacArthur. Or no, that's Neff. I am used to that being MacArthur's color. It's the 2 lap down, or Mark Prince 2 laps down.
Yeah, something happened with Prince. I didn't get a good view of, but definitely it started with Prince. Coming off of turn 3, we see Prince there on the outside. Copeland tries to go 3 wide, and again, it's down to the awareness thing. Things happen so quickly here. Prince did not realize that Copeland was down on the inside. He tries to fade down in order to get that draft ahead, and in return gets turned across the front of Copeland and into Brian Neff there. So it's only going to get worse. I mean, these big runs, the moves that the drivers are making, they're going to come faster and quicker as we get into this race, and we're getting close to that payout window time. So I expect more of this. These drivers have got to start paying attention, checking those mirrors almost constantly.
And Brian Neff, I don't see a meatball flag on that thing, but I do see a lot of damage on that 60. Steering isn't straight, so Brian, that may do it here for that 60. And this was one of those races here for him where JR, he was stealthily hanging out, you know, after being involved in some stuff early on. He would get himself back into the picture. And now, with not a lot of time here left, we're 3/4 of the way through. I just don't know if he'll get it done.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for him, I see some damage on the front end. At a track like this, you know, Arrow is a big player. I do see that Nerf bar kind of jacked up into the air, so it's going to slow him down a little. Now, when he's in the draft, he's probably going to be fine. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to have a car that he can contend with as far as being up front and taking the lead. But he may be able to get enough damage fixed that he's still got something to kind of, you know, make some moves mid-pack. And it's just unfortunate because he was in a situation there where there was nothing he could do. He had no idea it was coming. It was completely unexpected.
Let me peel back your brain a little bit here, JR. So, screen is telling me 26 laps to go. I imagine every single car is going to come down pit road here as we roll by. That's 25 laps to go. Good. 2 laps under caution left after that, I would say. If you're the leader, can you go hammer down from this point out front and not worry about fuel? Because to me, I think if you plan on leading this thing here from, you know, when we get back going to the end, I don't know if I'm confident on that fuel mileage. I mean, 23 green flag laps out front, that's a lot.
I would not be confident at all being the leader the entire time. I do think you're going to have some help. You're going to have to be able to save some fuel following a car in front of you. If I'm one of these drivers that's, fifth or further back, I'm going to come in and top off before we go green. I'm going to make sure that I've got the fuel and I don't have to worry about potentially saving fuel. I'm going to run as hard as I can throughout the rest of this race to get myself in a good position up front. And yeah, we see some action on pit road, some cars getting turned around. Hard to tell, but I think that's Luke Logan Allen that got spun coming on the pit road, and I don't know who the other driver was, but it looked like they get it corrected there.
Yeah, I can confirm it was Luke, and he got a little shot from Steven Hilbert. But he was so close to his pit stop. Steve was probably, for those out there watching, I don't know the exact number, JR. I think it's 4 pit stops, 3 pit stops. You're supposed to be able to kind of, drive through other cars. I know it's not realistic, but it's what we got to deal with here on iRacing. And it just seemed like it kind of hung Steve Hilbert out there. I don't think he expected to make contact.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that you kind of deal with in iRacing, and there's times where you expect something to occur where you're able to essentially ghost through that other car, and it just doesn't happen. So a lot of contact seems to happen that way, unfortunately. But I think thankfully for both of those drivers, nobody got any big damage out of that, and they're going to be able to continue here.
Well, the only 2 people in the whole room right now to be where they started are Dwayne MacArthur and Tom Ogle, first and fourth. They've been working together all race, and now Dwayne, he said, down with the 13th. You heard it from him. That's not me. I mean, he got himself back out front. Now we'll get to see if Dwayne unleashes his pace here, but I think that goes back to what we were just talking about, JR. If Dwayne, maybe gets a little too confident, hey, I'm out front, that might be what those guys behind want him to think. You just go ahead, you lead these laps, last one pays.
Absolutely, and that's what you've got to be setting yourself up for. These drivers, they've been, we've not had tons of green flag racing, but they've had enough runs to know what works and what doesn't work and where they need to lay back, where they need to be able to get that run and be able to time it. And it's all about the end of this race. If I'm the leader going across and getting the white flag, I'm thinking that I'm in trouble. Because I just do not think you're going to be able to block the ultimate run that's going to be coming. Now, if I'm the driver that's making that pass, I'm going to try to do it as late as possible, because if I make that pass too early, say coming out of turn 1 before we get to the tunnel turn, I think coming out of the tunnel turn or even coming off of turn 3, somebody's going to be making a pass on me. So it's all about timing. These drivers know exactly when they need to make that based on what they've been doing throughout this race. And, yeah, absolutely. If you're that guy out front and you're second, third, fourth, you're not going to be in a hurry to pass that driver until it becomes the last lap.
No, and if you're Dwayne right now, we're not saying it's going to be him at the end, but if you're the guy out front, you make a big block here to try to cut a run, that's on you. I mean, these big wide rear bumpers, JR, but that front bumper, pretty thin, and you got some big fat meaty tires there on the front to make contact with. So block at your own risk here. Normally not going to work out very well in this thing.
It's not, and we've seen plenty of time in league races on super speedway type events where the wreck will start up front on the last lap and
Going
the
around
driver
again.
running 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th ends up winning the race. So absolutely could happen. And yeah, to your point, one more caution lap. This is just another opportunity for the drivers to make it. The lights do go off, so it's one more to go. But I'm a little surprised. I think I would have came down and topped off one more time just to make sure that I could push as hard as I want to push. Maybe give me an advantage over the other drivers.
Yeah, it's a tough break there. They had to extend it because, I mean, to be honest, I think if you're kind of 5th, 6th, that maybe puts a little more stress on you here, I think, because not that I want it to be easier for Dwayne, but this extra lap may let him be able to push that much harder here. Only 22 laps now, green flag, JR, and we talk about the old school rules. There is no green, white checkered. So, this thing, it's 100 laps. That's it.
Absolutely. So you know exactly when the race is going to be over with. You don't have to worry about extending it, green, white checkers and whatnot. So you do know how long the race is. You know exactly how many laps you've got to make this fuel tank last. And yeah, to your point, once again, the extended caution, that's only helping the leader. It's making one less lap that he's going to have to do at full throttle. So, yeah, if you're back in the pack, that's things you're thinking about. You know how much fuel the leader has and what he's going to be capable of doing. And I think at some point you're going to have to say, I've got to go. I don't need to wait. I've got to get up here and mix it up, or at least be close enough. I've got to be in the first 2 rows on that last lap if I want a shot to win.
You know, I mean, most guys, too, here as we get ready to go back green, they've told us tires haven't been an issue. But I did look over and notice, I mean, James Lowe, remember, he was the leader when that caution came out. He had a 30-some second pit stop, JR, 15 seconds longer than those other guys. What's that telling me? He took 4 tires. Let's see if it pays off for James Lowe or if 2 tires was the way to go. Because we've got 22 here to go at the Pocono Raceway.
Everybody kind of staying calm on this initial start. It's usually been after turn 1 when we start to see drivers mix it up a little bit. Those top 2 drivers already pulling away MacArthur and Souza, getting a gap back to 3rd place. See Copeland there trying to make the move on the inside.
Yeah, you know, Tom Ogle and Dale Copeland, they ain't going to let that happen. They're going to try to link up on the bottom. They said, we're the ones who showed you guys how to do it. We can do it better here. I don't think we're going to let those guys pull away. But, whoa, Copeland almost slides up the racetrack. And Tom Ogle, that wasn't Tom Ogle, excuse me. That's another lap down car. So that's Dustin Martinson. He is a lap down. He's trying to race his way back onto the lead lap. That car who isn't the 5th car in line right now, if you're wondering, hey, Shaggy, who you talking about?
Yeah, we're right on board. We're seeing Copeland being pushed by Ogle. They are making moves, and Copeland's trying to decide, does he want to go to the inside of MacArthur? He decides not to. He wants to stay right there. And, yeah, this is going to shake the lead up a little bit. Souza's going to go backwards. He's going to lose a couple of spots.
And Martinson got a little loose there. He gathered it up. Boy, oh boy, they almost went 3 wide again. Tom Ogle, I think you heard the general say earlier, JR, he wants to go. He's not being patient enough. I think that's what Tom wants Dale to go. I mean, he is full hammer shoving him down the straightaways. He wants him to make the move. And I think maybe the 55, he's reminding that 13. He's like, hey, we got to look at that fuel gauge. We got to make sure we're good the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a moment where you want to give yourself a little assurance to make sure you can go all the way. And you don't want to make that move too early, because if you get out front and then you realize I'm not saving enough fuel by being out front, it's going to be hard to get back in the pack, because all the other drivers are going to be content with pushing you for a few more laps. So, yeah, it's all about planning, all about deciding when to go to the front, and these drivers know, they've been out there enough that they know exactly what kind of fuel mileage they're going to be getting, and where that number is, what lap they need to get to before they can say, hey, let's just go race.
I don't know how Dale held on to that. I mean, I think he just let go of the steering wheel and put his hands together and started praying. There is nothing worse, JR, than being that middle car in 3 cars that are locked together. I imagine that has to be one of the most dangerous rides here in one of these Tour modifieds. That's tough to do in a Cup car or, you know, a Busch car, a truck, let alone here in one of these Tour mods. I am sure that 55, he is not a happy camper right now. As now Tom, it looked like he was going to make the move to the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these cars are pretty stable as far as when you're locking bumpers and stuff, but when your front bumper's pushing the guy ahead and the guy behind you's pushing you, it doesn't give you any options, and it leaves very little room for error. That if one of those cars is to move, it's going to move you, and in return, the guy behind you is probably going to get into the inside of you or the outside of you and put you in a position where you get turned. So, yeah, not a position that you want to be in, but we see right here, once again, Copeland's kind of in that position.
Somehow Souza getting enough side draft to kind of maintain that outside. He hasn't had any help. These guys continue to run the bottom here. Gorisco looks like he's going to leave room for him to slot in here. No hurry to get up there. Crisco knows a long, long way to go here. 18 laps to go as we roll out of turn 3. No, I was about to say we were single file, but nope. He's going to take that run, go right back to the outside here. We're 3 wide.
Yeah, it's really odd in these cars. We kind of saw this a little bit at Daytona at the beginning of the year. It seems like you can run by yourself on the outside when you're in the corners for sure. It just bogs the engine down less, being able to not have to turn that wheel, not have to scrub off speed with the tires. So it works through the corners. Where they're losing speed by themselves is on the straightaways. You can see how much that gap is able to open up with these guys that are stuck nose to tail. But when you get to the corners, it kind of equalizes or even goes into the favor of the driver that's in that higher lane.
You see, he's still not able to get down. Souza now allows Martinson under in that lap down car, and the 87 to Liston works under Crisco here. I said the 87 to Liston because I saw the 07 and him and Todd Liston. Why do you both have green on it? Todd's 3 cars back on the inside. That's James Lowe working on the inside, JR.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to rebound a little bit and come back through the field here. These drivers side by side, it's kind of allowing those top 3 to pull away. And to the credit of the top 3, they've been doing that nose to tail 3-car deal down every straightaway. And that's why they're starting to open up a gap here. If they can continue to do that, it's going to be hard for that other pack to catch them, because I don't see anybody hooking up bumpers nose to tail in that back pack.
No, you know, JR, I mean, I'm just trying to find something here, you know, Prod trying to find a story. This 4 tires helping James Lowe out maybe a little more than those other guys thought, because look at this big run. He's going to go to the outside now. I mean, he was at the tail end of this pack when we just went green.
Yeah, it's going to give him some maneuverability. So he's going to be able to move around lanes. It's not going to necessarily make him faster, but he's going to be able to run some lines that some of these other drivers are not able to do. And it's not so much about the tire wear, it's about that tire temp. So the tire temp really comes into play after we've been out here for several laps. Drivers that have the newer tires, they're going to have the lower tire temps than these other drivers that have not changed left side tires. So that's where it's going to come into play. But again, it doesn't make you faster, but it gives you the maneuverability. You can maneuver around, you can change lanes, you can go high, low, and you're going to be able to make easier passes because of that.
See an outside line start to form here. We've got Aho, Lowe, and Liston. And that outside right now you've got, I mean, Gil Copeland, I mean, when MacArthur and Ogle were together, they were good too. But Dale Copeland is the one who pushed Ogle to that big lead. Arguably, that's the guy you want behind him. That 55, and he has been the ace here. And I think those guys on the outside realize that. JR, they're giving up here. They're falling back in line. And, oh, Crisco had to check up there, got to the left rear of Aho. We're still making contact going down the straightaway. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, definitely. That's where it gets really tense, is down these straightaways, particularly the long front stretch. That's where drivers are kind of moving around trying to change lanes. They're taking some runs, and in return, we're seeing some of that side-to-side bumping. And that's where we've seen a couple of wrecks occur so far in this race. So I don't think it's over with. I think we're going to see more of that, especially as these laps count down. These drivers are going to become more and more aggressive on the moves that they're trying to take. See Aho trying to get to the inside, outside of the tunnel turn here.
That was a power move here. It looked like maybe he had to check up though a little bit coming out of the corner. Had lost a little bit of that run. Still powering down on the inside. So we come this time by 14 laps to go. What is that? 35 miles left at the Pocono Raceway. I mean, still a long way to go, JR.
It is a long way to go, and each of these laps is a little over a minute even in the draft. So a lot of time for these drivers to think about what might happen, and they're all trying to position themselves for that last lap. So like I said, I think you want to be in those first 2 rows. Right now, that would be Aho and Copeland that are in the best spots. Aho's starting to fall back, though, right now.
I mean, am I wrong for assuming, JR, we're going to get 4 wide on the last lap? I mean, with the runs these guys are getting, with how wide this place is going down the front stretch, would you be shocked to see 3, maybe 4 wide?
I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think it's going to shock some of these drivers because some of these guys are hoping that if they make a move, they're going to have some other cars go with them. And I think instead of those other cars going with them, those other cars are going to try to make a move on them. And that's where you're going to get that 3 and maybe even 4 wide situation, particularly coming off of this corner that we're coming off of right now, turn 3, because they can fan out all across that racetrack. I do expect to see some blocking or some movement to try to prevent the passes from being made, and I think in return we may get a pile up, and if we do, that's prime opportunity for some of those drivers that are running further back in the pack to potentially capture a win.
And listen, who is pushing him on the outside? Is that Souza? Those two came out of absolute nowhere, got to the back of Lowe. Liston gave Lowe a shot, and all of a sudden here comes Lowe, the outside, getting a kick in the butt here, JR. We may have found a good combination here, side by side for the lead here as we get ready to enter 3.
Yeah, definitely. Liston knows how to get the job done. I talked about that earlier on this style of racing, and he's going to push. He will push you hard, and he's going to wait till the end of the race to try to make his move. So he has no problem pushing James Lowe out front here. He plans on making his move later on, but just not quite clear of that inside line yet.
You know, man, the leader's clear. Is he going to leave Liston out to dry here? The answer is maybe yes, most definitely, JR. See you, Liston. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's early to make that kind of move. You kind of want to stick with the guy that's been helping you out because you may need that help as we get in the closing laps here. But now Liston knows it's kind of every man for himself. He's going to have to fight back hard here.
And if you're listening, you know, what do you got to lose here? You pinch that guy down on corner entry, which he did. You get the run off the top, and you try to take the lead all by yourself. Todd Liston, how aggressive does he get on the entry to 3? He gave him, I think, too much room, JR.
Yeah, he was trying to get a nice arc through 3. I think it's going to pay on corner exit, but he's not going to have enough speed to be able to carry it down the straightaway because that inside line is lined up nose to tail, and they're already shoving each other across the start-finish line.
Oh, man, you're just praying Dale Copeland gets up to the outside with you. Tom almost made him there. Tom tried to make the move. Here comes Aho. What can Aho do? Can he get to the rear end of the 87 in time to save him? He's got some help from behind, too, in the form of Gavin Adams, a car who we saw make a big spin earlier. Back up front, Liston and MacArthur.
Oh, and MacArthur is done hard into the outside wall. There is no caution out on the speedway. MacArthur's continuing to get that car rolling, but you can see that heavy, heavy right front suspension damage.
I think, and I could be wrong here, we may not get the caution unless he comes to a stop because Liston, I believe incident pointed out, or, you know, iRacing had him hit the eject button, JR, because he just disappears.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see he was just to the outside there. The two come together, and that's probably one of those incident point type situations that just ejected Todd afterwards.
And really kind of amazing as you look at the front pack here that we still have that many guys together. I mean, you know, this is one of those, obviously we've had a good bit of cautions tonight, JR, but it's one of those spots, especially, you know, coming out of turn 1, going down whatever that first back stretch. I mean, that's one of the tricky spots for iRacing cautions. You know, stuff happens on the inside, maybe doesn't always come out. The drivers did a good job of, you know, getting through the wreck, but also not losing pace of the lead.
Absolutely. That could have really, really split up the pack here. We do see the two drivers out front have pulled away a little bit, but it's nothing that we've seen that second pack be able to overcome, and they're already starting to close back in as we go through turn 3.
9 laps to go this time by the 55 of Dale Copeland out front, a place he hasn't been very familiar with. He's been the second car in line most of the day. But James Lowe going to take over that spot for now. And, you know, JR, I think me and you are thinking the same thing. If, you know, to that 07, it is going to take the jaws of life to get me off the back of that 55. I'm setting myself up for the last lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I am not going to be going anywhere. I'm going to try to continue to push that 55 car. In return, I think Jeff Aho's probably got a similar opinion on what he's doing back in third, because like I said, when the second place driver decides to make his move and he dips out of line, the third place driver doesn't have to go with either of those drivers. He can take a big run himself and make it 3 wide. So there's not really a sense of urgency to try to do anything crazy here. If you're in Aho's position, he can kind of sit there and ride and see how things play out these next 7 or 8 laps.
Laps to go here. We got Alan Wanamaker trying to form a little line on the outside. Will he get enough help from Jeffrey Souza? Souza is one of those guys, it hasn't necessarily panned out for him, JR, but I have seen that guy make countless Hail Marys on the high side. He's willing to go for it if you are. I mean, Souza has been high side or die, but never mind, battle for the lead. James Lowe calls my bluff here. He doesn't want to, he wants the lead.
Yeah, that clearly tells me that these drivers are not worried about fuel at all. They're just here to race hard and try to capture that lead and then be able to hold on to it. But there's the issue. If you pull out of line and try to make a pass, that third place guy in line may not go with you, and that's what Aho's elected to do. He's thinking the inside lane is the place to be until that last lap. So there you go. James Lowe's going to fall back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily that you want to do it, but as you can see, I mean, we don't even really see the inside wall there through this camera angle. There is a lot of room. You're willing to maybe go down to the inside, force something on the last lap, but going to the outside right now, no way. If I'm Aho, you got to stay glued, man. Got to stay disciplined here. Wait 6 more laps, JR.
Yeah, absolutely. That you want to wait until the last lap to kind of make a move. And that's why this is kind of the calmest that we've seen the entire race. Everybody is single file except for James Lowe, who's falling back on that outside lane. All these drivers are just counting laps away, and they're slowly trying to get themselves in a position to where they can make a move on that last lap. But if you're at the back of this pack, I think that you have to be working together with your competitors if you want any shot to win this race. You're going to have to hook up on those last couple of laps to try to get to the front. And in return, those drivers in the back of the pack, they could really disrupt what the plans are of the drivers up front. So if we get one of these drivers in the back of the pack, James Lowe, Gavin Adams, some of those drivers hooking up together and coming to the front, that could prevent your second or third place driver from being able to make a move.
Those guys running around there in pack number 2, not going to be able to get up there to the leaders, not without a caution, I wouldn't think, especially running side by side here. Well, never mind. Lead pack starting to go side by side. Alan Wanamaker going to take a peek on the outside. Can he get any help? He's got Rory. No, who is that behind him?
I think it's
Gavin Adams. Yeah, Gavin Adams on the outside behind. It's just not close enough, JR.
No, he's not. So Allen's going to be struggling here. Now, again, he can hold on the outside through the corners. He's going to have tons of speed. But as they come onto the straightaways, he's going to lose a little bit of time. And a little bit surprised that he's going this early. But this is the thing that I talked about. If there's somebody in that outside lane, it's going to limit what the second and third place drivers are able to do. So that could completely change the way that this race finishes if we get an outside line formed up here.
Saw James Lowe do it once here. I mean, the last time he was up on the high side, he abandoned listing, but Wanamaker may not know that here. He's got some help coming. Allen gets a good run off. We're 3 wide for the lead. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and Aho kind of read that situation. He sees that outside line forming up, and if an outside line's going to form up, he wants to be the leader.
Gavin Adams, contact, he spins. Dale Copeland, we get a caution flag.
Caution
we get a caution flag. So Crisco, oh man, it had been a lucky night for him. The luck's run dry.
Yeah, and we're going to look. We see Copeland kind of blink out there. Oh, and then Copeland, yeah, out into the outside wall, and I think because of Copeland blinking out, that's what created the situation back here with Garisco and I believe Gavin Adams getting together. They were trying to avoid that blinking car.
Yep, that's definitely why I got quiet there, because I mean you can see them come back there, but they're all kind of just trying to guess and get out of the way and trying to fill gaps. You can see the top car kind of come down as Borisco's trying to get into that open. That just mayhem, and I don't know, JR.
Yeah.
We may have, what, one lap to go?
I was going to say that. I'm not sure we'll get restarted, but if we do, it's only going to be a one-lap shootout. Hopefully we don't end under caution. It's going to be a long end of the race if that's how it plays out. Hopefully we do get that at least one lap here, but we'll see what race control decides to do.
My wife cut me off for soda for the night. I'm out. I'm water only, so we gotta, you may hear a yawn or two out of me before this thing gets over. Is right now Aho definitely. I don't know what he was at the betting window, but coming up 16 spots. Aho definitely not my pick to win the race. I will openly say, if he can steal this thing, it'll be a big run here for Jeff tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge, and he made the move at the right moment, and I think it all, played down to reading that situation. I talked about if that outside line forms up, that's going to limit what those second and third place drivers are able to do, and I think Aho felt like if he stayed in line much longer, he might not have the opportunity to make a move on the last lap, so he made it early, and that's exactly when the caution came out, so he played that perfectly. We'll see if we get the one to go next time by. That's going to kind of dictate what we have here.
Man, if we get a one-lap shootout, JR, that may make this worth it here. This could get pretty exciting, and I'll tell you, the last person you'd want to be here, I think, is that 021 machine. I mean, you are a sit duck 2.5 miles going around this place out front, especially while you're getting up to speed, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen on the restarts a lot of guys be patient. It seems like it takes all the way through turn one before they're able to close up, but as they come off of turn one, they have tons of momentum from that draft. So if you're the leader, you've just got no chance to be able to hang on to it. Drivers are going to be able to fly by you, whichever lane is open, whether that's the inside or the outside. So yeah, definitely if you're Aho, you're hoping that this does not go back green, but the rest of these drivers are kind of chomping at the bit here. They're wanting to go.
You're going to have to make that thing, JR. You ever seen one of those slippery little wet signs, those crazy swervy lines under it? That's what he's going to have to do. He's just going to have to drive it like that, going down the back streets, back and forth, bobbing and weaving. I mean, that will be the only way to hang on. I don't know if race control will like that move so much, but it may be the only thing that you can do if you're Jeff.
It's the only opportunity you have, trying to break that draft to keep those drivers behind you from being able to get up there. But if they have help from behind, it's not really going to matter because they're going to have enough speed combined to be able to chase you down. We'll see here. We're coming off of turn 3. We'll see if the lights on that pace truck decide to go off this time.
1 to green. 1 to green. Everybody say it with me now. 1 to green. Let's hope those lights go off. They do. We're getting a one-lap shootout, JR. Here we go.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. Now, it is single file, so definitely Aho's got he's got the preferred position. He's going to have the preferred jump on that initial start. But like I said, these drivers are going to be so formed up, and they're going to have so much speed and momentum coming off of turn 1. It's going to be hard to guard against that. Now, the big decision or factor in this potentially could be what Alan Wanamaker or James Lowe do in 3rd and 4th spot, because if they decide not to help Ogle, that could stall those top 2 drivers out, and there could be some humongous runs coming as we get into turn 3 or even back onto the front stretch.
There's not a snowball's chance in hell Alan Wanamaker doesn't make it 3 wide. Right, JR? I mean, he can't want to help either one of those guys. I mean, he has got to be hungry to get the victory lane. And, man, you kind of, I don't know. I think the big one, You mentioned James Lowe a little bit. I think he's going to be forced to go with somebody, and he's got a big decision to make, I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping for sure that a couple of these guys that are third, fourth, or fifth kind of form up and work together for at least half a lap. If they don't, we could get a situation where we got like 2 or 3 wide action up front and nobody can really get a run on each other. Still be interesting coming to the line because we're going to have 2 or 3 wide action, but I would like to see something special come from the middle of the pack there, and it all depends on what these drivers do. Are they willing to work with each other for this half lap to have a shot at the end?
Well, pace truck dives off. 2.5 miles to go play at the Pocono Raceway. The YesterYear Tour Modifieds are back underway. Tom Ogle, he was right there, maybe checked up when he shouldn't have. James Lowe, he put the big boy pants on. We're 3 wide for second.
Oh, and they're wrecking on the front stretch. It is the final lap. We continue on. Ogle is trying to get a look to the outside of Aho as we come off of turn 1.
Yes, he does, side by side. Here comes the 55 as well with a big run. He is going to give Aho a shot. He could have made a move to go 3 wide, and Aho may have to thank him for that as they're side by side once again, entering turn 2.
Oh, Copeland's continuing to push. Copeland doesn't want to make his move just yet. He's still trying to push Aho out, but now that momentum is broken. Copeland is going with Ogle.
Here we go, final time through turn 3. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to get to that 13. He floats up, opens up that steering wheel, checkered flag flies. Tom Ogle holds on to win at the Pocono Raceway. Dale Copeland second, and Jeffrey Souza rounding out the podium. JR, we were 3, almost 4 wide there for third. Can't ask for much more than that in a one-lap shootout.
No, definitely, and ultimately some good racing there. Drivers keeping it fairly clean. We did see a finish, even though there was some contact prior to turn 1, but yeah, ultimately good finish there. These drivers really mixing it up. Great to see having that late race caution to kind of provide that for us.
Well, we're gonna watch Tom Ogle, cruise around here a little bit. I don't know how committed Ryan is to get to the start finish, but whenever we come back, we'll have your rundown of your full race order and interviews with your top 3. We'll finish up with that man right there. Stick around on the Virtual Grip Network. We are back live on the Virtual Grip Network after 100 laps here at the Pocono Raceway. And, well, JR, we were talking a little bit about it there amongst ourselves. But, man, to say the points got shooken up here tonight, I mean, that's an understatement here.
Yeah, big time understatement. We saw early in the race Kenny Allen and Scott Negus going out early. They were the second and third place runners. And then, you know, Brian Johnson, he was the best finisher out of all of those drivers that were up front, and he only comes home in 8th place. So Tom Ogle coming in the points leader, double points night, big night in the championship. Completely changed the complexity of this season.
Well, let's go ahead. I mean, you talked about where Brian came home. Let's take a look at that list here. Tom Ogle, your points leader, coming home with the big double points win. Bill Copeland, he seemed to be the money man pushing tonight. Just didn't have enough time to get out of his spot here, but I'm sure the 55 will be happy to beat too. Souza third. Jeff Aho coming home fourth. Kevin Adams fifth. Luke Logan Allen sixth. Rory Collins seventh. Ryan Johnson eighth. Jerry Isaacs ninth. And Tom Hilbert rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, coming home in 11th. We saw some of that last lap action. James Lowe and Alan Wanamaker in 12th. Dustin Martinson, he'll be the first driver one lap down tonight in 13th. Steve Hilbert 14th. Chris Davis comes home in 15th. 16th place is Randy Schuler. Then we get down to the drivers more than one lap down. Brian Neff comes home in 17th place. Robert Garisco comes home in 18th. Bruce Pearson 19th. And Chris Hazlett, he'll come home in 20th.
Yeah, this is where we start seeing the broken hearts here. Some pretty quick cars coming home on the trailer. Dwayne MacArthur 21st, Todd Liston 22nd, Mark Prince 23rd, Mark Fish 24th, Ken Allen 25th, Darrell Weininger 26th, Jeffrey Arden 27th, Orange Childs 28th, and there it is, the biggest heartbreak of all. Scott Negus came into tonight 3 points back of Tom Ogle, rounds out the field there in 29th. But, well, on the brighter side here, we got some people to interview. First one up is going to be our third place finisher, Jeffrey Souza. Jeff, Shaggy in the booth, man, you got a copy?
Hey, Shaggy, how we doing tonight?
Not as good as you're doing, man. I'll tell you, you were fun to watch because you were tailing around the back of the lead pack pretty much the whole time. But you were that first guy, Jeff. You were swinging to the outside every time, trying to get it to roll. And, man, you had to wait, but you finally got up to the podium, man. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, this is definitely something different for me. You know, I usually really like Pocono. It's one of the tracks that I really do good with in almost any car I run here. Have never driven a modified here. So when Alan reached out and offered me a position here tonight, I said, hey, might as well run it. Again, had never run laps here before tonight, so I said, let's give it a run. And like you said, I really wanted to try to get to the front as soon as I could, so work on that outside lane, trying to get some passes in. A lot of those early cautions, we got some damage early, so we got that fixed, and then just slowly tried to start working our way up, figure out how the draft would work, and then lo and behold, found our way to the front and made it work on that late caution.
Yeah, Jeff, speaking of that late caution, that was leading me to my next question. Without that caution, were you going to be close on fuel, or were you okay to pretty much hammer down the rest of the way? I mean, that last run, that was, I think, 22 laps, green flag. Were you going to be close?
Yeah, we were okay on fuel. I was honestly hoping that we were going to go green before that caution with 20-something to go, because I think I was probably going to be in a little bit better situation than most of the leaders, just because I had topped off on a couple of the other cautions. So I think I was going to have to take a little bit less if we would have had green flag stops. So I would have been okay with green flag stops. I think we would have probably gained a little bit of time on some of those guys. But obviously with how the draft affects these cars and how much speed you gain from the draft, how much that really would have helped me, who knows. But fuel could have been definitely in question for some of these guys, but in the end, no green, white checkers, obviously, tonight, so luckily we didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we were rooting for that thing to stay green because you and I believe it was Dwayne MacArthur had topped off together. You guys were sitting pretty. I think could have worked together. You would have had those green flag pit stops. But at the end of the day, coulda, woulda, shoulda, Jeff. You bring home P3. Congratulations, man. After a hard fought 100 laps, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank Susan Media for everything they do, helping me every week, all the work they do in the modified series. If anybody watches the modifieds, they know some of our clients. They're some of the top guys in the series. Justin Bonson, YesterYear, racing for the championship in a couple weeks there at Martinsville. Triad Racing, everyone over there, Thomas O'Hara, Jeff Barnes, Andrew Russo, Brandon Pierce, my spotter, up on the box every Monday night over in the Red Light League, which is where I'm normally racing on Monday nights. That's where Alan brought me over from for the IROC series on YesterYear. That's where I'll be next week or in a couple weeks, back there on the IROC series side of things. So I'll look forward to being over there in a few weeks, and it was fun to join you guys on a Tuesday night to run some modifieds tonight.
Yeah, heck of a run, Jeff. Look forward to hopefully you coming back, man, and running some more in the future. Great run. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Sounds good. Thanks for the fun, guys.
Jeffrey Souza bringing home P3. Now my man JR is going to talk to the chicken here who finished P2.
All right, hey Dell, congratulations that second place run. Gotta ask you, with everything going on tonight, all of the runs that were occurring, what were your thoughts when you knew that you had a one-lap shootout coming up? What was the game plan there?
Survival.
That's definitely what we thought. We definitely saw contact before the entrance to turn one after you guys took the green there, so we weren't sure what was going to happen. You guys overall kept it clean. We saw you kind of pushing Aho down the backstretch there and then ultimately going back to the outside. At the end of the race, was the outside just the one that was able to carry that momentum through the corners, especially if you had multiple cars out there?
Yeah, I think it was weird. The momentum it was like somebody could get under you, but if you were in that high line and you could just not pinch it coming off the turn and just let it roll out a little bit, there wasn't much, but there was just enough momentum where it kind of made a difference.
That's what we kind of speculated on. I was surprised to not see it come into play earlier in the race. Dale, you've only ran a couple of the races this year, so I got to ask you, are you going to be around next week when they come to Martinsville? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Been so tied up with work and everything this season, I haven't really had a chance to run much. And then, this came up and all the OBRL guys that I run with, we're going to hop over. And, me and Tom and Dwayne, we're all on the same radio all night, just trying to work together. And it just kind of worked out. Now, unfortunately, we all got mixed up a little bit. I think Tom was the only one that stayed pretty clean all night long.
Absolutely. Hey, man, ultimately, an impressive run. You were in the mix the entire race. We saw you doing a lot of good, aggressive pushing out there. So congratulations on the second place run. Before I let you go, who do you want to thank for tonight's run?
Oh, I just, thank Alan for putting this on. It's a really fun series. I hate that I've missed some. And then, all the guys that I raced with the OBRL, Tom and Dwayne and Crisco and everybody was out there running with us tonight. It was a really good time. We were all on the same radio. A lot of us are on different teams, and tonight we were all on the same radio. It was a blast, just kind of running with people and talking all night long through the race with people you don't normally talk to. So, it was a blast. I had a good time, even though it was a lot more cautions than I'd wished for.
All right, man. Hey, we appreciate you being over here and running. Hopefully, we get to see you back soon over here.
10-4. Looking forward to the broadcast.
All right, guys. That was Dale Copeland. He's our second place finisher tonight. Shaggy, who's up next?
Well, a man who I don't get to talk to that often on Sunday because he always comes home second. Tom Ogle. Shaggy, what's going on, man?
Oh, boy. If I had 9 lives, I used up 8 of them tonight. I got so lucky from all those crashes around me. Oh my gosh. I just was, there's so many guys in there that aren't running for points, so they're just here to win. So I was just kind of going to push Dwayne or Dale Copeland. Like I was content. I kept trying just to ride, but everybody would go 3 and 4 wide. So it was a stressful night, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you had to be stressed because you had Dwayne and oh my gosh, Dale there around you. And Dale told us you guys were hanging out talking. I mean, you had to hear their distress calls. I mean, they're right around you and they're getting sucked up into things. I mean, how close were you to being? One time we saw you sneak down to the inside, but I mean, it seemed like you were pretty much out front for most of it. But I mean, you had some close calls, that's for sure.
Yeah, there was a ton of. So many times I would go in and I wasn't throwing. The problem where we would run into problems is guys would throw that block on that late dive into the corner. And if I just took my medicine. But so many times I would hear below me, especially going into one, I would go up to the top and I would hear tires squealing. And then about halfway down the backstretch, it'd be caution. And you'd hear guys say, oh, what? Why? So I was like willing to finish where I finished. Even at the end, I didn't expect Dale. I thought Dale had got disqualified. He was 1 point away from DQ when he got knocked up the track that time. So I figured maybe top 5. So I feel very fortunate. This was 100% luck. There was no skill involved in this one.
Now, obviously, you end up walking out with the win, so it works out. But when you see the late caution flag fly, did your gut want it to end under caution here to keep that podium spot?
I would like to act like I'm competitive and say I wanted to race it out. That's not. I was so happy with second. I was doing the math in my head. I was going to take a second and leave, and I would have danced away from my computer. I was so disappointed when we got a lap to go. I was like, come on.
Well, it ended up working out for you, Tommy.
That's not right answer. I know. But that's my answer.
I'm telling you, if I'm you leading the points and you see the guys, I don't know how aware you were, but tough night there for second and third. I mean, you're going to walk out of here on top of the mountain by a big margin. So you did exactly what you needed to do. You bring home the win.
I didn't I saw guys having problems, and then Alan had zeros in front of everybody's numbers. And at one point, I was the only not zero number in the front, so I was happy, and I was going to let them race it out and just finish where I finished. You know what I mean? And when we got that green flag where we had one lap, instead of ending under caution, I could gain 1 spot, but I could lose 20 spots. So there was so much to lose. I was so disappointed when we went back green. But then I got that run on the outside, and Dale pushed me, and I was happy in the inside car. I think he finished third. He raced me real clean. He could have threw a dirty block or something there, and he didn't. So listen, sometimes I just got lucky and missed all the mayhem, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you've had your fair share, so maybe you earned this one here through previous races.
Yes, finally got one back after losing a couple that way. 100%. Maybe I was due.
Exactly, due theory. Congratulations on the big win, Tom. You got anybody you want to thank before you get out of here?
I want to thank Alan for putting the race on, and I want to thank Dwayne, Jerry, and especially Dale Copeland. He was the MVP of tonight, whether he was leading and just maintaining the lead or when he started pushing. He was awesome. He did a great job, especially not running these cars and just popping in with no practice. So and you guys for putting on the race.
Well, hey, we appreciate it, Tom. Congratulations. Right. And
thank you.
Well, I think JR, you said Martinsville next week?
Yeah, 250 laps around Martinsville.
Well,
that's fine.
I'll talk. Yeah, that's what I said. I'll talk to you next week, Tom.
At 300, after 300 laps at South Boston, 250 at Martinsville seems like child's play.
Yeah, and that is the place. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I'm good. I like that track. I like short tracks way better anyhow. And you can control your own destiny at that place a little bit more than tonight. So I'll be glad to get back onto short tracks and just get some good runs under my belt.
Well, hey, great run, Tom. Look forward to talking to you again, brother.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a great night.
Tom Ogle brings home the win here at the Pocono Raceway. And after a long night, JR, we did have some pretty good racing. Obviously, the caution bug, a little contagious tonight here, but 3-4 wide and a hell of a one-lap finish. I mean, that's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely. A good way to wrap it up. I really wish we'd got to see some green flag stops tonight. I think that could have mixed some stuff up. Something that the modified drivers are not accustomed to having to do is those green flag stops, but this series kind of opens up that opportunity. But at the end of the day, like you said, having something exciting with that one-lap shootout kind of paid off.
Let's go ahead. Let's pay the bills for the rest of the week here. What do we got coming up? Irwindale Speedway Saturday. Oh, man, I'm at Talladega Sunday. Can't wait for that, JR. But next Tuesday, we are at Martinsville. And as Tom Ogle said, that's kind of a control your own destiny. Unless you're the car in front of the car, you know, that's maybe a little quicker. You may get shoved out of the way. Tempers could flare next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy to get tempers going at a place like that, short track where some beating and banking come into play, and sometimes it's incidental contact that can set something off. So you never know for sure what's going to happen. You're in control of that race a little more probably than what you were here, but you can always be in a bad situation at Martinsville. Something can always pop up and grab you from behind.
Well, with that here, we're going to wrap it up for the YesterYear Tour Modifieds. I'd like to thank my partner, J.R. Shepard, the dude in the back, Ryan Seneca, and last but not least, we at the Virtual Grip Network want to thank all of you for tuning in. Have a great night.